Boys in the back. Boys in the back.
Good? We are back with another edition of Boys in the Back. This time on a Monday. Unfortunately, you're stuck with us. Helwani is out observing Rosh Hashanah. I am 1/3 of the Boys in the Back. Connor Burks joined alongside me, as always, the legend, Mr. New York Rick. Mr. Monday Afternoon finally gets the title back.
It's been a minute, but we're back. We're back with Mr. Monday Afternoon.
We mentioned Ariel is out today. We're also missing Andy, who is on vacation at a wedding in Spain. I hope she's really enjoying herself. And we are also missing Jordan, who had to call in sick. So you literally are dealing with the Boys in the Back. It is me, it is Rick, and it is Frank. And that is it. But we are in the helpful hands of Brad, Derek, Sal, filling in the shoes, stepping up in a very big way.
Thank you to them, for sure.
And it's not just us. It's not just me and Rick. We had to call in the big guns for a special Monday afternoon. We are also joined by UFC title challenger and New York's #1 real estate agent. It is Raging Al Iaquinta. Here on the program, in studio.
Oh,
and we got the t-shirt, baby.
Come on.
Matching
Incredible.
shirts for Al on the program today.
My man.
My man, thank you for having me. This
Welcome,
is incredible.
How we doing, brother? Thanks for coming in, man. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys having me. Wait, hold on. Did I give you these shirts? You
No.
made these.
No, we had them made, man. If you want a guy, we can hook you up. You can start selling them. man.
He brought us
I
shirts.
brought you guys.
You're shitting me.
Yeah. I got
Are they black or are they white?
The
They're
black ones.
Oh, perfect. Well, now I got one I can wear 2 times a week.
Wow,
They
look at this.
fantastic.
The new studio.
Yeah, first time here.
This is my first time at this location. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
Incredible.
great, man. Thanks for coming in. A short drive from Long Island, yeah?
Not bad. Cruised right in. Beautiful.
Nice and smooth. You're the whole reason this man right here is a homeowner, yeah?
It's true.
Homeowner in Wantor, the hometown, my hometown. We were talking about it earlier. It's how great of an area it is. I don't think he was too familiar with what Wantor had to offer, and I kept telling him. We kept looking here, looking there. Every now and then a Wantor one would come in. I'd go, hey, what about this one in Wantor? And then he found the one, and it just so happened to be in Wantor, and I couldn't be happier for him. It's just a beautiful place. Really, anywhere, Nassau County, Long Island, you can't beat it.
Can't beat it, man. I've always said I love Long Island.
Yeah. Where are you?
I am in Brooklyn. I'm in Dumbo, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
We can circle back to that.
No. I love Long Island. It's a great spot. Right by Jones Beach, yeah.
Jones Beach.
Beautiful venue.
The gateway to Jones Beach.
He's in the gateway to Jones
The gateway to Jones Beach. I love it.
10-minute drive. He's right there. You can't beat it.
It's incredible. Al's office, like the home base for Al, is right there, like around the corner from my house.
Incredible.
It wasn't when we moved, and then he went there right after.
Makes it easy. All right, so today you are an honorary boy in the back. You are with us. You're just going to ride the whole show with us. Usually we like to start with some news and some notes from the weekend in combat sports. We'll start with the news that Rafael Fiziev is out of his main event against Charles Oliveira. I actually tweeted back in early August how stacked October is. You can see it there. I jinxed us. This is from October 7th. I jinxed us. We not only lose Charles Oliveira and Rafael Fiziev this weekend, but we also lost RDR versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez at UFC Vancouver. So the 2 non-pay-per-view card main events, we end up having to get replacements for, and we're still waiting for a replacement for Charles Oliveira to make his debut back in Brazil.
On that graphic, those are still intact. October's still looking good.
Pay-per-views are still excellent. Pay-per-views are excellent, especially 320. We'll talk about your boy in a little bit. That 320 card is stacked, but it does hurt losing those 2 main events.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, Charles, because, we look at that lineup, there's tons of big stars in there, but Charles is as big as any of them, right? Like, Charles is one of the biggest names that the UFC has. It felt like a great fight. Fiziev and Charles was one that I think most fans were looking forward to and felt like was going to deliver. We kind of have to see now, is somebody going to step in on short notice and take on Charles Oliveira in Brazil? There have been some people who say they might, and then Charles is kind of calling cap on that.
Yeah, he spoke to MMA Fighting, and he had this to say, a quote from Charles Oliveira. He blasts fighters for publicly asking for UFC Rio spot, but turning down when offered. I saw one saying this, another saying that, but when the UFC calls, what do they say? I can't, I got a bellyache, I broke a finger, I hurt my hand. He's essentially saying that the fighters don't want the smoke when they get the call against Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, and who better than Al, who's sitting right next to us today, notably took 24 hours notice to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. What's the mentality when you get that call from the UFC and they're like, okay, we need you to step in on the least possible prep that you've ever had in your career?
It's an opportunity of a lifetime for one of these guys. It's an opportunity. Like, listen, I wasn't getting a title shot. I had to win a couple more fights, definitely, to even get in the talks for a title shot. I had an opportunity there. It was win-win. I didn't come out with the the result that I wanted to, but I gained so much in everyone's eyes. It put me 10 notches ahead, and I was ranked, after that fight. And that's somebody's going to get that opportunity. I hope somebody makes the most of it, and realizes the opportunity that they have right in front of them. It's why you always got to stay in shape. If you're right there, if you're in the mix, you got to be in shape. You got to be ready to go, because you could get a Charles Oliveira call tomorrow, and you got to do it. You can't say no. You got a bellyache. Nah, good. Give me a bellyache. I don't have. You know what I mean? Go, whatever you got, take it with you. Rely on the years of training that you've had in your whole life. And give them hell.
We hear sometimes about like people when they take these opportunities saying like you're in the UFC's good graces, right? The UFC looks favorably upon fighters like this. Does that come into your thought process as you're doing this? Or are you thinking about, man, I might lose this fight and then I'm further back in the rankings? Like how do you weigh all those factors?
As a fighter, I don't think you can really think about having the UFC in your good graces. At the end of the day, you're in there fighting for yourself. You're fighting for your health, your life, your money. It's all right there. It doesn't hurt. Trust me, it definitely does not hurt, but that's not the reason you're taking this fight. If that's the reason you're taking this fight, you're taking it probably for the wrong reason. You want to hop into this just for the opportunity of facing a legend like Charles Oliveira. And if you're a top guy, if you're in the UFC lightweight division, you got to believe you can be a champion at any time. So the call comes. That's a call that you may never get again. It's a crazy sport. You got to take that and you got to run with it.
Not just against the legend in Charles Oliveira, but you would also be main eventing in Brazil, in his home country. If you're able to go in there and pull off the upset on 2 weeks' notice, massive. It would be insane.
Crazy. Imagine that. That would just be insane.
There is one man that always seems to come to the call that's essentially begging for these fights. We saw him take to Twitter. Mateusz Gamrot, always ready to get in the octagon. He says, respect Charles Oliveira, but I told the UFC straight, I want to face you in your home. This will be a true masterclass on the ground, and I'm ready to prove it. He then followed it up again last night, still ringing the bell. I hear you're worried about my style, even though you had a full training camp. I had none, and I'm still ready to step into the cage. 2 weeks left to prepare, and I'm already in ATT right here. No excuses. Let's do this. I mean, he's in the top 10. He constantly seems ready. He always stays in shape, but it does kind of feel like guys don't really want to go against the guy like Gamrot.
Yeah, the style is hard. So let's put the shoe on the other foot, Al. You're Charles Oliveira. Do you take a guy like Gamrot on short notice knowing how tough a style he is that he's bringing to you? Or is that one where you're like, nah, you know what? Maybe I want to rebook this. Maybe I don't want to do this one.
You got to, I think that's the fight right now. The guy, someone calls you out like that, there's no way, you're in Charles talking about everybody else not wanting to take the fight, talking about belly aches. Now somebody comes at you and says, I'm right here. I'm the guy. My belly might hurt. My toe might be broken. I don't care. 2 weeks notice, nothing. I'm going. Let's go. You can't say, my belly hurts. You know what I mean? So I think that after that, that's what I want to see that fight right now. I'm already invested in it. It's great.
Love that.
I'm down with this. This brings us to a crazy but true scenario. There is now not a single fight booked in the top 15 of the lightweight rankings in the UFC.
No way.
Not a single fighter is booked to fight anyone.
That is nuts.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, I'm curious as what they're going to do now. It's wide open. And, you're going to have to book Ilya soon, for the title shot. You're going to have to book these top guys.
Armin's been floating around forever.
Armin's floating around. Paddy's floating around.
wasting.
Gaethje. A lot of these guys, it's been a minute since their last fight.
Yeah.
And so it's just the UFC now has wide open pastures to play with for 155.
Wow. Are you like me? Do you feel like lightweight is the best division always? Is it constantly the best? I've never felt like lightweight has given up that throne. I've always felt like that's the best UFC diviin.
Yeah.
You look down at the 15 to 20 range and you're getting guys who could be ranked no problem.
Yeah. It's a crazy division. It's it's kind of like that middle weight class where that's where it's probably the most populated division, just in general. The most people fit into that weight category, and then you add in all these studs that are competing in this division right now and have been. It's always just, and now Ilya coming up, and now he's, it's like it was stacked before that, and now he's in there. Crazy division, crazy time in division, and I didn't realize none of the fights had anything booked. Which
it's nuts.
We gotta get this show on the road. Let's go.
Exactly, because it is like one of the premier, if not the premier division in the UFC, and has been for years and years. So many popular, super talented fighters. Maybe some of them will be fighting on this UFC White House card, which last week. Dana White, Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, they all made their rounds on Fox News. And during that, they released renderings of what the card could potentially look like. And I have to say, like, if it looks anything close to this, they will have gone above and beyond. I know, like, some people like to bring up, like, Fight Island and the Sphere and everything like that. Like, I thought the Sphere looked pretty close to what rendering.
Okay, but we have to admit, Fight Island did not look anything like it. They promised us a cage on the beach, and that was a practice cage, and they ended up fighting in a tent.
I mean, if they pulled this off, press conference in front of the Lincoln Memorial, are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
Like, that with the Washington Mall behind you, like, the renderings look absolutely insane. I think there's a couple more that they gave us. I mean, you got the fireworks. If they pull off 50% of this, I would be satisfied with what we saw.
If they pull off 1% of this, and that 1% being on the lawn, that's enough for me.
All right, so you say that. All right, here's a walkout. I wish we had seen some renderings of what the Oval Office locker room could potentially look like. But you said, like, if they're able to get on the South Lawn, the White House official Twitter account took to Twitter with the picture of the renderings and said, "See you on the South Lawn at UFC." 29 million views on this tweet, 81,000 likes. Like, I was like the number one doubter when this first, like, the idea of it came out. I was like, man, are they really going to be able to pull this off? Like a fight on the White House South Lawn? Now, like, we're getting meetings with Trump and Dana White at the White House. We're getting renderings of what this could actually look like. We're getting like, oh, we're gonna have to move it to June. Like, we're gonna do UFC X. We're gonna do a watch party on the Washington Mall. And now you have the White House Twitter account being like, we'll see you in June. Like, this feels as real as it's ever been, and it is crazy to try to comprehend.
If you were competing right now, is this the type of card where you call your manager and you're like, I need to be on this? Or is this the one where you're like, let me sit this out, let them have the spectacle, and I'll go get my work done over here?
Oh, no, you want to be on this card. Absolutely.
Has to be.
Yeah, I think the UFC is doing a great job of, like, these, I haven't played video games in a while, but you'd have the video game where you go through and it's like, play on the White House lawn. And it's never happening. It's never going to happen in real life. So that's why you want to pick. It's like, cool. And then here it's happening. The Sphere, that whole card was crazy. So props to the UFC for, like, making these cool things happen. And, Dana White thinking outside the box and, like, just kind of, like, saying it and then really making it happen. And in the beginning, it sounded like he was just saying it. It's kind of the same thing with the Sphere. It was like, oh, it would be cool and it sounds cool. But then when they bring it to life, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. So I'm in all day.
All day. Like, I mean, I think not only we're going to be in, I think, like, just the sphere of casual fans. Like, if you've ever watched a UFC fight, you'll be tuning into this 100%. One. Like, that's the scope that this thing could get. And then you have the guys that could potentially be on it. Like you mentioned, like, this is the one I want to be on. You have McGregor going on Fox News and being like, oh, yep, it's me versus Chandler. Like, that's the fight to happen. Then Chandler follows it up with, that's the fight to make. We did the Ultimate Fighter. It makes a ton of sense at this point. McGregor going on Twitter and being like, Mystic Mac prediction. We're going to fight. McGregor KO win first round. UFC White House. So, like, if you can parlay Conor McGregor and the White House together, like, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
No. Do you think Conor McGregor will fight on this card?
I gotta think so. I gotta think if there's enough time for him to get ready, barring he does something nuts, But I think I think this is like something that he needed. When you're Conor McGregor, not many things will,
Yeah.
Silk sheets. What is it? Waking up early in the morning.
Hard to get up at 4 a.m.
You know what I mean?
Silk pajamas.
But to fight at the White House, I don't know. I think it'd be probably a lot cooler if he was like an American guy. But for him,
and if we can get him fighting an American in Chandler,
and
like
Mr.
America.
He's America. He's gonna walk out with the stars and stripes draped for sure. I mean, we said it on the show last week. We were like, if he doesn't get up for this, if he doesn't return for this, then what is gonna get him back?
Yeah,
it feels like nothing because the clock just continues to tick.
This is the last. I think this is the last thing that can get him back.
Yeah, I agree.
And it'll probably be I don't think it'll probably be a one and done. I don't think, if he does knock out Chandler in the first round, I don't know, who knows where he's going to be at, where both of those guys are going to be at. They haven't fought in so long, but if it does happen, which I'm kind of saying it's probably going to if all things happen the way they're supposed to.
But it's a great point. Like, after you do that, what else do you do? You know, if you're Conor McGregor, like, what else do you possibly do after knocking out Michael Chandler on the White House?
Unless they're going to have, like, a fight on Mars or something.
Yeah. There's really not.
There's nothing better, bigger.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think he has, like, one more fight on the deal. Or
it feels like, I mean, it's been 4 years since he last fought, but it feels like I've heard a million times that he had 2 fights left on the deal.
So maybe you do just get one out of the way, right? You just get one out of the way, and then now it's, like, open market for the boxing, the Jake Pauls of the world. He's co-owner of BKFC. Maybe he goes down that route. So it feels like this is the big like culmination for Conor, and then it's like maybe you do the one more just so you can get out of contract and figure it out. And I don't know if UFC will be super happy to like let him out of contract, but they'll have a decision to make after this.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the only superstar throwing his hat in the ring. Obviously, John Jones has said it numerous times that he wants to be on the card. Dana kind of pushing back, but then Hamzat got on Twitter as well and made like an AI art of him standing over the White House. Like he's one of the biggest star the sport has today. Obviously, dominant performance over DDP last month to get the belt. Whether this happens or not, I don't know. I mean, like I guess like he can get into the States now. Is he going to fight on the White House lawn? I don't know, but like the stars clearly want to be on this card.
He joked at the time of the DDP fight about like, you think they want me on the White House lawn? He was laughing about it. I think, to me, this feels like it's Conor McGregor or bust, right? Like, it's like, if you have Conor McGregor, you're not putting Hamzat, you're not putting John Jones, you're not doing that. If for some reason or another, Conor cannot, I do think you call John Jones. I think he's the first name you want to call next. But if you've got Hamzat, I don't think that's a bad opportunity either. Like, you need somebody who a wide audience is going to really recognize and also deliver in terms of the fight.
Hamzat Strickland? I'm trying to think of an American you can put.
That's not bad.
That would have to be the fight. It's got to be like something like that, right? I think that's yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? That fight, Conor versus Chandler.
If they can get Hamzat and Conor on the same card,
that would be crazy.
That'd be.
I keep thinking about this, and when you said it, it came back to me again. I keep thinking about this. Don't you kind of want the Americans to go over, though? If you're the UFC, don't you want to book it so that the Americans are winning the fights, so that the celebration of the 250th anniversary of American independence is like America winning? Because I don't know, it feels like some dicey situations. Even John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, right? You got a Brit coming in. If he starches John Jones, it's not a great look for the independent side of it. Ultimately, I think these things will all come out in the wash, and just having like a massive card, that event itself will be good. But I do wonder, like, don't you want to kind of put over the Americans? Isn't that kind of like
Strickland versus Trump? Not many people are giving the U.S. a chance in that one, but isn't that what it's all about? You come out and
that pulls that one off.
That's
the American dream.
You get the belt back.
It's all about. That's the American dream right there. Come on,
love that.
Book it.
It's going to be amazing to watch them try and book that over the next 6 months. Some other news: Rajat Jackson arrested last Thursday in L.A. Arrested on one felony charge, held with $50,000 bond. So if you were to use a bail bondsman, that'd be about $5,000 to get out. We don't really have any updates from this, whether or not he bailed out, what the charge is. It kind of left more questions than answers, sort of like what took them so long to arrest him as well, if they were going to arrest them, because they went to his apartment to do it. But very interesting to see that like action has been taken now, and I'm curious to see where it goes.
For me, the biggest surprise in all this has just been the fact that like it was such a public act, but everything else is kind of played out in private. Like this, like there was no word of him getting arrested for weeks. Like there was nothing happens, and then he gets arrested, and it's this low bond number, and it's just like there's so much mystery around this, while the thing itself was so public. Everybody saw it. Everybody passed it around. It went viral. Everybody's mom, grandma, everybody saw it. It is a bizarre situation, but I mean, I can't speak to the legality of it. I'm not versed enough there to know. But I was surprised that the number was so low to potentially get him out of jail, and just how quiet it's all been.
What took so long?
What took so long?
And it was like you couldn't. It was mainstream media, everybody,
Couldn't
everywhere.
escape it.
And then it was just like, oh, he got arrested
Yeah,
quietly.
And they just kind of snuck it in.
bizarre.
Sometimes with these like extremely dense legal cases, they have to build the case before they make an arrest. But this is sort of like all the evidence was put directly online and got hundreds of millions of views across the world. So yeah, I mean, it just leaves us with more questions than answers. Can't really speculate on what's going to happen from here, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the court. We talked about the White House, and there is one name that no one's really mentioned that, like, you know, maybe could it possibly happen? We saw Ronda Rousey hitting the pad. She's talking about how she's fallen back in love with MMA. We have a video of it where she's comparing 8 weeks after having the baby, 8 years after stepping away from MMA to 8 months postpartum. You know, she looks kind of like timid, a little bit slow, trying to get the hands back. And then later in the video, it shows her now, which the hands look crispy, I have to say. But she talks about she's finding her love again for MMA.
I'm happy to see this because I may be in the minority here, but I do think Ronda Rousey got a little bit of a raw deal when she left the sport. People wanted her downfall so much that they kind of were in a rush to celebrate her leaving the sport when she did so much for the UFC at that time and the sport of MMA and women getting into it. Look, she did herself no favors in terms of how she handled the media and stuff on her way out, but I always do feel like she's not celebrated in the way that somebody of her stature should be celebrated. Like, she is an icon of icons. She's a no-brain Hall of Famer. She went into the Hall of Fame recently, and I just feel like people don't really like give her the respect that she's probably due. I'm happy that she has a little bit of a better relationship with MMA now and can reflect on it this way. The question for you, Al, I think is like, the mentality of like getting that itch and then maybe wanting to compete again. For like, maybe speak for yourself. Like, do you get that itch? When does it happen? Did it ever go away? Like, what's the process like for somebody who steps away?
You always have the itch. You watch the fights and you're like, oh, I beat this guy. Oh,
yeah,
I'm great. Oh, you hit the pads. You feel great on the pads. You feel great on the pads. And then you do a 2-minute sparring session with a guy that's like an up-and-coming 22-year-old that's like taking it easy on you, and you're like, oh, I remember when I used to be able to train 3 times a day and wake up the next day and do it again, and do it again, and I was just hungry and like I didn't have the kids, the money she's got. Like, I'm sure she's doing very well. She's done very good, and so you know that's the difference. Can she do it? I'd be very. To convince me, it'd take a lot. And I'm not really convinced with just one pad session. But I do think Ronda Rousey's done so much in her career that if there is anybody that can make a comeback, that armbar doesn't go away. She's always got that armbar, and she's got those throws. I think she kind of got away from it in the end. She kind of like if you go back to that, people still aren't on that level, I don't think, in women's MMA. You know, if you go back to that takedown, those throws, if that's your bread and butter, and you get the right opponent and you go in there, yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I mean, she's getting ready to turn 39 in February. Hasn't competed in the UFC since December of 2016 against Amanda Nunes. So, like, it's been a minute, man. We're coming up on a decade of her having not fought competitively, but like you guys mentioned, she's a legend. Women's MMA isn't where it's at without her. So if she did want to make a return, the UFC would welcome her back with open arms.
And a huge benefit is that division's pretty shallow. Like, really bad. It's as bad as it's ever been. She could hop into there pretty easily and get a decent matchup and look pretty good. Even
you don't need a B side either. You can put her in there against anyone and people will be interested.
Even like somebody who has just recently fought for the title is highly ranked, like a Juliana Pena, right? They're peers, you know? It's like she could jump right into the Shark Tank with this division and ultimately probably be okay. Now, is it like Amanda Nunes or Kayla Harrison? That might be a little bit of a road too far to be coming back from where she's coming back from. But 1-2 down the line, maybe you can build toward it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That sport's evolved so much in the last, like women's MMA at that point was just it was not even, she was the first. She was the first one.
Yeah.
She made it happen. And usually, in sports, that the first couple of years, the acceleration, like people, there's now girls that are getting into the UFC that have been training all disciplines from the beginning. Yep. She didn't even start boxing until very late in her career. So I don't know. I just think this sport's evolving so fast. With the right matchup, they'd have to really carefully pick an opponent, because it's even like a Juliana Pena. She's active. The last 6 years, she's been doing good.
Yeah, champion.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know.
Apply this, like, when you look at the lightweight division, when you look at what would be your peers if you were fighting right now, and you're talking about, like, the evolution in the skills, what do you see as somebody who's been out of the game for a while when you see, like, the current crop in terms of the evolutions of the game and what the meta is, like, how the styles play out?
Yeah, I mean, you take a guy like Ilya. Everyone's talking about his stand-up is so good. I don't think no one's really even seen his ground game yet. I think his ground game's just as good, if not better. Like, there's no chink in his armor. He's so squared away in every facet of the game, and where maybe even like a guy like Conor, like he had some holes in his game, like not holes in his game, but you know what I mean. Like he played to his strengths, whereas I think a guy like Ilya can just do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and he can navigate really a fight. I think a guy like that is just on a whole nother level. We've never seen anything like that in this sport, and it's just going to keep getting better because there's guys now that are coming up that are younger that are just doing everything. They're like Olympic level wrestler, K1 level kickboxing, jiu-jitsu world champion.
It's like made in a lab for this.
And they are. It's like they're made in a lab, and it's a great, crazy thing to see. But it's an amazing sport, and it's what's keeping me interested for sure.
I'm
I was
sure
going to
you
say it's
see guys
amazing
like
from
that
a
in the
fan
gym,
standpoint
too. I'm sure there's guys that you see in the
Oh.
gym all the time that are like this new evolution. Because I think of this as like a cross sports, almost like in basketball back in the day, right? Used to be like, I'm a 3-point shooter, I'm a defender, I'm a dunker. Now they do everything. And in MMA, it feels like there are no holes. And it really comes down to like, whose night is it? And like strategy, good coaching, good game plan, and that's who's gonna win. And then you have like freaks like Ilya, who the power, everything is there. Who's
and
next
he's like
level.
a GQ model. He's like
yeah, right.
flashy cars. He's got the wife or the girlfriend. Like
He's got the
you know
kids
what I mean?
now to go
He's
with it.
yeah,
the
he's-
kids starting
the
training
kids
and everything. It's
doing a
just like
spinning elbow. You know what I mean? Like
he's at that weird point where it's just like it feels like he can do no wrong,
Yeah.
and it just like feels like there's superstars like that coming along as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even like you talk about like these evolutions, like even a guy like Merab, like if you're fighting at 135, it's like, dude, how do I beat this guy? Like even if I have better stand up, like he's just gonna thwart that and take me to the ground. Like and it's just like the cardio I can never last with him. It's just like he's the hardest puzzle to solve right now at 135, and if not all across the UFC.
He almost feels like the opposite in a certain regard to me, like a throwback, which is his one weapon, that cardio. Nobody can, the gap between him and everybody else, nobody can clear. Like his hands have gotten really good. Every part of his game has gotten really good, and we see it in every fight, right? He's not just a guy who's like spamming takedowns. He's a guy who can win in every phase of the game, but the cardio advantage is just like that one tool that he has is so far above everybody else that I just don't see how you clear that gap. Like you can be as well-rounded as you want, but by round 3, you're cooked. Like that's it. You really can't counter that.
Yeah.
it's like that Mike Tyson effect. You
Yeah.
know? People are scared. They get out of shape just thinking about getting out of shape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then you get in there and maybe you save a little energy for the second round or the third round, and then you start getting tired, and then Merab just sees it, and once he sees it, then it's like I think it's a crazy weapon. It's the scariest weapon. It's more scary than a hard right hand that just knocks everybody out. Being tired in there with a guy like Merab in your face,
And you know he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And like during the training camp, you're told, I'm sure, several times, it's just like, this guy's going to try and drown you. Like his cardio is not going to go. We have to get cardio has to be the main focal point. So if you're about to go into round 4 and you're like, man, I'm starting to feel pretty gassed. And like you look over and Merab's just laughing, smiling, getting his water and everything. It's just like mentally, not only physically, mentally, you're just done.
yeah.
You have to think that every opponent is ready for 5 hards, right? Like they're like, I'm in championship shape. But when he's ready for 10 and 20 hards, it's like, what can you do? There's nothing. What is that like in the gym? Like, what is it like to spar and go with Merab?
It's a feeling that you can't recreate. The way he moves and the energy. Like I don't think he would need to just like moving around with him. You're gonna get tired. Almost, it's like the pressure that he puts on, and like he's moving, and you're like, oh shit, is he throwing something? Oh, is he? What? And O'Malley felt it the first time. So I almost thought like, and rematches, guys, can kind of it levels the playing field. A little
Yeah.
bit. Somebody wins the first fight, the second fight's a little closer, but. I mean, a guy like Merab, I saw like O'Malley switched some things up in between the first and the second fight, which didn't seem to have too much like actual. I don't know. They weren't like practical. He stopped playing video games. Merab has.
Stop Jay and the Peen, as we heard.
Yeah, stop doing it. Like that's the reason you lost to Merab is because of that. And then you see, I'm looking on Merab. I'm seeing interviews with him, and that's the differences he's made. And then Merab's not saying much, but I look on his Instagram. He's training with national wrestlers from like this country, that country. He's already dominated the first fight in wrestling, and he's bringing in these guys to improve his wrestling, where the other guys, play a little less video games, a little less like Pornhub.
Right, and you're playing a little less video games, and like Merab's building like a compound to host like Georgian fighters out in Las Vegas. So like he is living and breathing and eating this every single day.
The only thing I'll say, in fairness, and this is just my personal opinion, somebody can disagree, I do think those things benefit Sean O'Malley, but it ultimately won't close the gap. I don't think anybody, until Merab loses a step, I don't think anybody can close the gap on Merab. And as you know, I've long felt this. Like, I've thought Merab was the best in this division for a long time. That skill that he has, that cardio, combined with the fact that he continues to drill the wrestling, you also don't have to worry about Merab. Like, he won't do something stupid. I mean, he might dive into like a frozen lake, but he won't do something that's going to get him outside of the fight game. He's always going to be ready. He's always going to be training hard. He's always going to be available. You can count on him preparing every single time. When you're a guy like that, like, I just don't see how the gap closes. I don't know a person out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think his 24/7, every moment, everything he does he just loves it so much.
Yeah.
He loves being a part of the UFC. He loves being a part of the sport. Now he's at the top. The guy, he can't go to the Republic of Georgia. He can't even go. He's got to like.
Oh, we've seen those scenes. We want to go.
It's crazy.
Did you ever go?
Crazy. I did. I went.
Oh, sick.
I went when he was like, I don't know. He had maybe had like 5 fights in the UFC, and he was like, it was. I can't imagine what it was like now. That when we arrived in the Republic of Georgia, and I don't know if he might have just been cracking the top 15, but I don't think he even was. And at that time, it was just like 4 years ago, 4 years ago, people were, following him around, Superstar. I mean, it's for that country, for somebody to come and do something like that, it doesn't get much bigger than that. It's crazy. It's so amazing to see, and he's the best. He's the best guy. He's the guy that helps everybody, and you see he's bringing his guys over from his country. They stay with him. He's giving them an opportunity, and that's the kind of guy that you want. It doesn't. I don't know if people really. He did it on his own too. You know what I mean? Like, I think the UFC held him back. And his Instagram's hysterical.
Oh, so
his
good.
personality, the thing with him and Aljo, they kind of like, oh, you're not going to fight Aljo. We're going to kind of like, the guy fought, he was like 10-0, 11-0 before they even gave him a title shot. You know.
Okay, I want to get into that, because when you were talking about like he's a good guy, I was thinking of the Aljo thing. No, there's no better example of like the caliber of person Merab might be, right, than the idea that there's this thing dangling, right? You can be a UFC champion, and the only thing you got to do is fight this guy that you said you'd never fight. Do you want to do it? And every time offered, or even not offered, right? We don't know if a formal offer was made, but Dana White obviously publicly said, like, we're mad at him for not doing this. He has always said no. To me, that tells you like what kind of caliber of person it is. He's like, I'm willing to wait. I will wait my time, even though I know I could be a champion right now. I will wait until my friend, my training partner is out of this division. And he did it, and now he's a champion. And it set him back, not at all. Like, right, he is rolling now. He's fighting every month, it seems like. He's the one reliable guy that they have. But do you think that the UFC held it against him in that regard, like that the opportunity never came? Or was it just a circumstance of like, look, if Aljo's here then and you're saying you're not going to fight him, we have to give you somebody and you're going to fight?
Yeah, I think, well, it definitely, Merab wins this fight. He's basically cleared out the division.
Yeah.
He cleared out the division before he was even the champ, because they almost had like 2 champions. It was like, and I think the UFC could have made, they didn't give him the credit for that. They held it against him, and Dana White in the interviews, he was like, oh, we don't like it when people don't fight their friends, or whatever. Said turn down, and it should have been like, this guy is look at how awesome this guy is. This is what like the fans respect.
Yeah.
And it was almost like the fans were like, they respected it, and they had to figure it out for themselves, kind of thing. Whereas if Dana White was like, we basically have 2 champions. We've got the champion, and then we got his best friend. You want to fight the champion, you got to beat his best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could,
and no one could do that.
Nobody
could
can beat
so
these
it's
guys.
like, it's like these are, you know what I mean? Kind of, I feel like they kind of got the raw end of the deal with that, where it could have like accelerated everything. I mean, like these are 2, but now they're doing it. They kind of did it their own way. Merab waited for a shot. Aljo, everything kind of like whatever happened that way, and then Merab got his shot, and Aljo's up at 145 now, doing his thing, looking great. So I think sometimes you stick to your guns, I think a lot of people probably would have went the other way, and it probably wouldn't have turned out as great because they did it their way, and it's.
Yeah, I mean, it really is incredible to see. Like you say, like the UFC sort of hindered him and he just had to do it his own way. He had to win 10 straight fights. And then like he started capitalizing on the social medias by getting big himself. And now he's capitalizing on it as a champion. He is staying active. Like if he wins this fight against Corey Sandhagen in just a couple of weeks, like I don't know anyone you can put as male fighter of the year over him. And he's already talking about, I'm going to deal with Corey in October, and then I'm ready to go on the December pay-per-view. Let me go 4-0, 4 title defenses. So like he's taking on whoever challenges him. He's going against the best of the best, and he's staying incredibly active, which is the biggest superpower for a champion.
Yeah. He's incredible. And I think the UFC was late to the game on this, but now I think they recognize what they have, right? They have a reliable champion who every time he gets that call is like, give me the next guy up and I'm going to make it look fun. I know the finish, like he got a finish against O'Malley, right? The finish thing is kind of something that people have held against him, but man, his fights are fun. I don't care if he's getting the finish. Like the idea of just that constant motion, that constant action, it's good to watch. He's, as you said, like on his social media, his personality's coming out. He's a genuine guy. He's a respectful guy. He represents his nation well. Like he's the total package. And I feel similarly about like a guy like Alexandre Pantoja as well, where it's like this guy deserves respect, whether like regardless of the size, regardless of finish, not like you just have to like look at these champions for what they are. I think Merab is a fantastic champion, and I think the same with Pantoja as well.
Yeah, I mean, likely won't be the names that like the casual fan knows and goes to. They're not going to be flashy, but the UFC fans, the diehard fans of combat sports, respect, know, and love them as champions. And I think as time goes on, they'll just continue to be more and more respected. We were talking about Ronda Rousey. Whether she comes back or not, I mean, that could have just been a post like, it feels good to get back in the gym. It feels good to shake the rust off. So like we'll see what happens there. I'm not going to hold my breath. It has been quite a long time. She used to be in WWE, and we saw this past weekend WWE making their debut on ESPN. TKO Group, getting on the 4 letters. It feels like a match made in heaven for them. They debuted with WrestlePalooza on ESPN in Indianapolis. We saw Brock Lesnar come back, former UFC heavyweight champion, beat John Cena.
He looks smaller.
Do we think Brock Lesnar's natty, Al? Do we think it's just maybe a little bit of protein powder?
Yeah, just a little protein powder for that guy, right?
Just a little protein powder and doing his push-ups. But yeah, I mean, he walked through John Cena. We got a kid crying because of it.
This was my favorite moment.
So upset that this made it for me there.
John Cena fan decked out in the gear, and he just watched John Cena get obliterated by Brock Lesnar.
But it feels like WWE didn't really skip a beat, man.
No.
The production looked great. It was easy to find on the app. I know some people struggled because like packages weren't available, but I got ESPN Plus, so I was able to just hop right on, and it feels like the ship is just off and running. They had a great like tribute package to their partnership at the start, and like TKO, man, like they're just killing it right now. They couldn't be any hotter.
Yeah, it felt to me like you talked about the video games and like those secret levels. To me, this felt like in the video game when you change the color palette on the character, where it's like UFC used to get this. Now we're just flipping the package to WWE.
Yep.
Log on, watch the thing. There's a few execs in the seats. Like it looks exactly like it would, but obviously with WWE, who also controls their production, their own kind of flavor to it. But yeah, it was a pretty seamless experience. I watched most of it. Brock looked good, extremely jacked. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a very fruitful relationship for WWE and TKO having both of these properties, and then that huge deal with Paramount coming for the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it just like that more aware of how turnkey it is when you have your own in-house production services.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, all right, we're going from Peacock to ESPN. No one's going to notice the difference other than up in the top right, we're going to have ESPN logo instead of the Peacock one. And now UFC with Paramount, you imagine we're going to go from that pay-per-view in December to the first one in January, and the only thing you're going to notice is difference is Paramount Plus branding instead of ESPN.
And the promos for Yellowstone or whatever shows.
Yeah. 7 years, $7.7 billion deal gets done last month. Obviously, you were in the organization for quite some time. Like, what is it like to see them ink a deal of this magnitude?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, right? You going from, you just see the transition over all the years from Spike TV and what was before, FX and Paramount. You know what I mean? It's the sport, just continual growth of the sport, and you just hope the fighters are going to be eating from this whole thing. You know what I mean? It seems like it's the perfect opportunity for them to get a big bonus, big raise and everything. But hopefully it will be. I think Dana's already kind of mentioned that the bonuses are going up and everything. So let's start getting these guys paid like the pro athletes that they are.
So on that front, I mean, that's the obvious thing where all our minds go right away, right? Is there's so much money going into it. Do you ever foresee a world where the fighters are able to get a cut of these things because of bargaining, because of coming together, collective bargaining or a union or whatever? Is there ever going to be a day where the fighters are able to put their personal gain aside and say, for the collective good, we will do this? Like there was some whispers when you were fighting, but it never quite came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very hard. It's very hard. You're dealing with people from all over the world. And if somebody doesn't want to take the fight, we might be able to just find some guy from Brazil in the favela that's like, I'm ready to go for free. I'll fight for free. People have said they fight for free. You know what I mean? Like, it's the UFC is just, it's such a platform to grow your career and grow in anything. And, people idolize that so much that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get on there. It's tough to form like that kind of union thing. We'll see what happens with these class action lawsuits that are going on. Settlement's coming up pretty soon, I think, for your boy over here.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It seems like the UFC's pretty squared away. They got this thing on lockdown, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future. But I think it's good. I think the new deal with Paramount will definitely help the fighters in some way, and I think the management's going to really have to step up. The pay-per-views, the points are going away, right? So there's no more pay-per-view points. So how's that going to work? Are we just going to like do some equation that kind of like evens things out, or how's that going to go? So there's a lot to be seen, but at the end of the day, you just gotta fight, you gotta win, and you gotta worry about yourself, right? So it seems like that's the way to go.
Yeah,
that's the mentality.
It's fascinating to think about, even though we're probably not going to get to see any of it on the back end. It's just like now these fighters and these managers know, like 7 years, $7.7 billion. You mentioned pay-per-view points going away and everything like that. So like how they're able to negotiate and structure this is something we probably won't find out, but it really is going to be a fascinating time for fighters, because you made another great point with like, if you don't want to fight for the money, if you're trying to collectively bargain, if one guy is just like, oh, well, I'll still fight for these wages, then it kind of brings the whole tower down. Or you can just go find someone else who is trying to realize their dream, trying to accomplish and get to the UFC, and they'll just fight for less.
Yeah, it would take, in my opinion, it would take everybody being on the same page, right? Everybody in the locker room just goes, we're not fighting, or an entire card, right? Let's say one Saturday, every single fighter said, we're not going to compete unless these things are implemented. There'd be like a real change, a real impact. Alternatively, it could be like a Connor, a John, somebody with some real stature, an Alex Pereira, a Tom, who's just like, I need this to be in place, otherwise you don't have me. But failing that, it just feels too hard, as you said. People live in different places. You can always find somebody who's going to fill in. The quality of the cards, in my opinion, has gone down a little bit, to the point that, like, if you find somebody to replace, nobody's really even going to be the wiser. They're not going to even know that I was missing out on somebody. So I'm skeptical of that. You mentioned the antitrust part of it. It sounds like you're confirming that you will be receiving some money from that settlement. We've seen other people come out and say, like, I'm not going to take it. Renato Moicano famously was like, I don't want to take the money. What's your opinion of, like, if you're an active UFC fighter? Now, he has come out and said, I should be clear for the record, he has come out and said, like, his decision was not based on, like, the UFC is going to treat me differently or not treat me differently. Because in the legal terminology, it says, like, the UFC cannot treat you differently based on whether you're accepted or not. But what's your thought on somebody like Renato Moicano, who, out of principle, was like, I agreed to this contract. I did not agree to this extra money, so I'm not going to take it. What are your thoughts on, like, that type of situation?
So I think it's an interesting battle that you're fighting as a professional, as a UFC fighter. You got you're fighting kind of like your comrades, and you're also kind of like fighting the UFC at the same time. The UFC's goal is to bring, their returns is, they want to, their investors have to get money. Like their bottom line is the goal, and to increase their bottom line, if they pay the fighters less, then it helps their bottom line. So it is kind of like, you're kind of like fighting your friends to fight the the company. It's an interesting dynamic, and I think that's why the UFC's been so successful in a lot of ways. They've done it so smart. But it's like nothing else. It's not like the boxing model. It's not like the professional football, basketball. They've like kind of created their own model, and now you see them, I guess, trying to kind of bring that model to boxing, which is like the most similar, I guess, kind of like structured thing to do. But I think it's going to be I think Dana White got a little taste of not going to be as easy. And not saying it was easy. It was, I mean, but he's definitely going to. I think he thought the Turkey Al Sheik funny because Dana's always been the guy.
Yep.
But now I feel like Dana kind of felt what it's like to be a fighter a little bit. He was kind of like in the back. You know what I mean?
He's on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It felt like a Dana we had never seen before.
Yeah.
Like he was sort of just off to the side. It didn't really feel like he was pulling that many strings when it came to the event. It kind of just felt like he was sort of like a figurehead to pump up the promotion of like, oh, Dana White's involved as well.
Yeah. He was sitting. He wasn't sitting right up on the usually he's like right there. He's got the headset on. It's like he's running the show. This was kind of like he was sitting next to
laid back
the
with
guy
Turkey
running the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
and it didn't really feel like a UFC, right? Like the event itself felt like what we've seen from boxing in the past. It didn't really feel like the Dana White fingerprints were on it, other than Dana did more media than I've ever seen him do in the last like 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think the Fertittas gave him the bull and he ran with it. I think Turkey's kind of like, I don't think maybe it's not too smart. Maybe he should. You know what I mean? And I think there was a lot of things that happened in that event that Dana probably would have. I think he had a lot of influence on it. But I think if Dana really had his way, it would have been a little bit of a different show.
Yeah, and so related to that, right? Like we're talking about the antitrust, we're talking about the Paramount deal. One of the things that obviously helps the fighters the most is the rise of new promotions, right? Like PFL now being a definitive number 2, the purchase of Bellator at the time that Bellator existed, Strikeforce, Pride. It has always been best when there's been competition. We saw GFL come out and really make an effort to like snatch up all these fighters that were outside the UFC and seemed like they had almost all the names that you'd want, but ultimately they ended up not being able to fund it. What were your thoughts on like when GFL was really making a push and getting all these guys signed up?
Who do I got to call? Get me in there. They're going to pay this guy $1 million for a fight? What?
Did you actually consider at any
Did they hit you up at all?
100%. They didn't hit me up. Listen, it would have been I don't know if I would have even. They would have to pay me a lot of money, and I'm in real estate shape right now. I'm not in fucking the top shape.
Raging Al versus Dylan Dennis 170.
I would. Yeah, that would be. I'd be. That guy will not get in the ring with me, guaranteed. But they were paying the guys a lot of money. It seemed like it was all good. You know what I mean? Kind of wish it would have happened. It would have been a great platform for the guys, but the money they were throwing around, it was like It was. I could have probably called this. I was like, everybody get in, get your money, and because this thing ain't lasting. You got 1, maybe 2 events before this thing goes under. Because there's no way. It just doesn't make sense.
So was that the talk, like seemingly from the fighters that you were talking to? Like people were kind of like, let's get this money, but we don't think this is really legit. At least like they're not going to do multiple events, right? Some people might think they could do the one and then it's over.
It sounds like it was so much money that it was too good of an offer to pass up.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is all I have to do for this amount of money? All right, I'm there. Because it was a lot of fighters that were either retired or on the back halves of their careers.
Yeah. It would have been interesting to see how the fights looked with a lot of these guys that were kind of like, it would have been a little bit of like kind of like freak show-ish. You know what I mean? Maybe guys that they don't look too like they're, in like the peak of their career going in there. It would have been like a spectacle, but I would have liked to have seen it. I would have liked to have seen the paychecks so these guys get paid because a lot of these guys really deserve it. You know what I mean? And the numbers they were saying they were throwing around was just crazy. But it looked like it had a little steam going for a little bit, but even while it was, everyone was kind of like, yeah, let's get in, get 2 or 3 fights, whatever, because I just didn't see where the money was going to come from.
Yeah,
go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, one of the things that I thought about when we were talking about this was Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar's been somebody who's been retired for a bit. Seemed like he had exhausted like all he could kind of do in combat sports. One of the unrecognized legends of the game, in my opinion. Like one of the like the guys deserving of the most respect. You talk about pound for pound, like that's a pound for pound type guy. And now we see him coming back for BKFC, and BKFC has kind of become a home for some of these guys who are on the back end, or it feels like, hey, maybe the sport is done with them. They find a new avenue for it. What do you make of like people like let's say like a Frankie Edgar type fighter who had an illustrious, legendary career in the UFC, but now is at the point where, hey, I need to make this money. I'm going to come back for BKFC.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I love Frankie so much. Everybody.
Who does? Yeah, that's the thing.
He's fighting.
I don't know who's
Showman's guy.
Jimmy Rivera.
Jimmy Rivera, which I think is a pretty good matchup for him. Jimmy Rivera he's tough, you know. But I think Frankie's boxing's, you know, is always been pretty tight, and he's always been pretty safe. I think, you know, in the boxing realm. So I think it's a good fight for him. I don't know, you know, the bare knuckle thing is just brutal to watch.
Brutal,
man.
dude.
Brutal. It's like, you know, like every punch, even glancing blow, kind of like gives you unfixable damage. So it's, but that's why people love it. It is a gladiator sport. Is if you're going for, you know, for damage, that's the sport where it's unforgiving. But yeah, I'll be watching Frankie Edgar for sure. It's a legend of the sport. Hopefully he goes in there. I like Jimmy Rivera too. East Coast guy, two East Coast guys going at it at the Rock, you know, at the Prudential Center.
And I will say we've been before. The BKFC puts on a fantastic show.
Great show.
So like they'll spotlight him. Hopefully, you know, both guys just come out healthy and they put on a good fight.
Yeah, I'm of two minds about it. I think BKFC has a lot of momentum right now. I think the product's really good. I think Feldman's great as like the front man for it. They got some good talent in there, but I do feel kind of uneasy at times about like a guy like Frankie Edgar getting in there and getting into bare knuckle boxing. I can't like, I try to separate myself from that idea, and that part always does make me feel a little bit uneasy. But I'm also a type of guy at the same time who, you know, Frankie Edgar has to pay his bills. I can't tell him how to do that. So if that's what he feels he needs to do, like, who the fuck am I? Like, I'm out of the equation, and it's up to him to make those decisions for himself. But I do, you know, some guys at the end of the line, it makes me feel a little bit uneasy. But BKFC is a well-run organization. They've got it kind of like dialed in for what they're doing. So hopefully, as you said, everybody comes out safely and everybody makes good money, and they have a successful event in Jersey.
I spoke to Frankie pretty recently. I went down and I did his podcast down in Toms River, and we kind of talked about it, and I loved his attitude about it. I thought it was going to kind of be like, you know, get in there, get paid kind of thing, and he was like, and I didn't know Frankie Edgar was like he had a couple of street, you know, he had a decent amount of fights, and then I remembered I remember first hearing about him in the underground, New York City, in the city, before it was legal in New York.
Yeah,
he was fighting on these Peter Storm underground fights, and that was like the first. He was like the main event. He had a couple fights there, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Frankie's like finishing off where he left off with like the street. You know, I forgot he was a scrap. Like, he was in the streets. He would scrap, and now he would go do these underground fights. And he was never scared of nobody, and he's still not scared. And his attitude was awesome. And I was like, oh, he's got like a fire about him right now. This is not like him going in to do like a Twilight Payday kind of.
Yeah.
He's going in there to fight, and I was like, oh, all right. Now I like this.
I mean, you mentioned you get the itch from time to time. I mean, you just have to wonder if the itch got so bad he had to scratch it, and BKFC was sitting there waiting for him. And like, it's also crazy. You mentioned the underground and everything like that, and now he's doing BKFC. That like, the sport is still like in its infancy enough that like you have a guy like Frankie Edgar that started in the streets on these underground illegal fights, and now he's finishing in BKFC, compared to a guy like Ilia Topuria that's like private jets and you know, tailor-made training and superstar wife and everything like that they can coexist and still be fighting at the same time. And it's like they came from two different worlds. It's just nuts.
Yeah. Those days, that was a crazy. Like, I don't think the fighters nowadays can even understand what it was like when it was illegal in New York.
Did you do any of those, or was that before your time?
I was right there. I had like a couple of smokers in the gym, that, you know, and then Frankie was like maybe a couple years ahead where he was doing those, and I was still wrestling. I was still like, wasn't right quite there. You know, if I was a little later for sure, but amateur MMA became big in New Jersey right about the time when I started like really getting serious about it. And I was like, the underground thing, I don't know. I was like right there. It was right there, but no, I never fought in any of those. I never went to them. I would hear about them. I would go on the underground, I think. Or I forget where I would go, and I'd see like it was like, you know, pictures. There was no even video. It was just like you see like 5 pictures from the fight, and it was like Frank Yeager on top of somebody with like bleeding, and like his knuckles were like bloody and stuff. And there was a couple of other like local legends, you know.
Yeah.
And Frankie was the guy that kind of like made it out of those underground fights, and really made a big name for himself.
So when he said he saw it on the underground, that was the OG forum.
website.
Sure
Dog and the UG.
Share Dog too. It was like you know, it would be like one thread for like those,
The results of those,
the results, and it was like they wouldn't announce where the fight was gonna be. It was like
Wasn't it in like shipping containers? I would hear and crazy shit like that.
This sounds like a movie, man.
They were in gyms it was like a movie. It was like, you know, they were in gyms in like the city for the most part, but like it was very like they would, I think, tape the windows up.
Yeah.
You couldn't see what was going on, and they wouldn't release like where it was going to be until like the day of. You know, it was.
I can't imagine the rush that you got from not just fighting, but being there.
Yeah.
How crazy is it that it's only been legal in this state for 10 years?
Crazy.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah,
like when you go back and think about that.
How long everybody had to go to New Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the guys coming out, like we didn't make any money. We had to sell tickets. We got a percentage of the ticket sales, and not only that, we have to convince all of our friends to go to like Atlantic City. You know what I mean? Where a lot of the guys were right there. It was a crazy time, really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, who is it? Aljo has never fought in New York before?
Yeah, Aljo's never fought in New York. He's got something with like a brain. I don't know.
No, isn't it
It's like a weird.
the eye? Isn't it that he had like LASIK or something? And they don't allow you to compete with that?
Something. I think somebody like messed up a thing on his like one of the. I don't know. Something
in the documentation.
It's like ridiculous that he hasn't been able to fight in New York, and there's no like nobody that can like fix whatever it is. I don't know.
Crazy,
it's just
dude.
so weird. Yeah. But he's doing it right. I don't think he can.
Yeah.
Just property.
Income tax.
Yeah, the state income tax.
We,
He's like, I'm good.
We talk about Frankie Edgar coming back, BKFC. You talk about, you get the itch, but then you go to the gym, and it's just like, yeah, maybe not. Has real estate helped with that as well? Like, obviously, it keeps you busy with your time. It keeps you, financially sound, everything like that. Like, does it keep you from going back into fighting?
Oh, I mean, I got to think if I wasn't, I don't know, but if I would do something, if there was something else I'd be doing, but I'm definitely like all in on the real estate. Fighting is kind of like my relief from that world, I go to the gym and I'll watch the fighters. And then I'll get beat up a little bit, and I'll go, oh yeah, that's right. I got a showing tomorrow in the morning. I gotta focus on that, But yeah, the real estate, everything's going great with that, and it's keeping me. It's very similar to fighting. I've just taken my focus from being the best in the world at one thing to now being the best in the world at another thing.
What was the OG on how you got into it? What inspired it? Like, you're obviously having this incredibly successful fighting career. What made you be like, let's go get the real estate license?
It was when I got injured. I got injured. I hurt my knee, and I had to get a pretty serious surgery. And the UFC was not really the UFC doctors, they were like, if you get this surgery, there's a good chance you're probably not going to fight again. The surgery that I had was I was the first MMA fighter that I think that they ever did this surgery to. It's called an osteochondral allograft. It's kind of like, how can I describe? Like they take cadaver cartilage and they put it in the underside of your kneecap. So I got like cadaver cartilage on the underside of my kneecap, and they've never done it. Have done it to basketball players, and this doctor Riley Williams from HSS. Saw him. He at the time was the number one guy, and saw him. He was like, "Listen, I feel very confident that we do this surgery. We'll get you back in there." The UFC doctor was like, "No, don't do it. If you do it, you're not going to fight again." I said, "No, HSS, best in the world." He said, so the UFC wasn't going to pay for it. They were like, "If you want to do this surgery, HSS charges more than if it was a different hospital or whatever it was. The difference it was like $40,000 difference in the surgery because they were going to do it. I wanted to do it with the best at the best. So they were like, we'll pay for X amount. You have to make up the rest. I'm like, I got to make up the rest. And I'm going to be out for 6 months or a year. So I can't do that. So it was a big holdup. That's when I started getting like crazy, like making fun of whatever, yelling at Dana and fucking cursing and stuff. And eventually I went out and I met with Lorenzo and told him what was really going on because it had never gotten to that level. I was speaking with like people that really, I was speaking with the UFC doctor who I don't know if he didn't want, I don't know why he would, he was so against it. And
was he recommending an alternative surgery for you to get?
Not really. There was not really much of an alternative. My knee at that point was so
it was pretty much that and have a chance to fight again or get nothing and not fight again, period.
Exactly. That's exactly the situation. And I felt like no one was listening to me. This doctor had his idea about it, and the UFC was just listening to him. I don't know if they didn't want to spend the money, if they thought that, if he said that I wasn't going to fight again, why are you going to spend money to fix a guy's knee who's probably not going to fight again? Meanwhile, I got them in touch with HSS. The UFC now is sponsored by HSS. So I've been making deals since day one. I want my commission from that one. And I'm serious.
You honestly should.
I did make that happen. I introduced the UFC to HSS. I did a lot of research to figure out, that they were the best. And this doctor in particular was the best. He did get me back into the ring, into cage, octagon, whatever. And now they're sponsored by the UFC. So it's great. It's a great story. But at the end of the day, that's when I got my real estate license. I said, I got the surgery. I crutched into the course. I had a bunch of people that were very successful in life that were always preaching real estate. They said, you're going to win some money in fights. Uriah Faber, he owned a whole block at one point. I think he still does. And he's still, invests in real estate. And I always saw real estate as just like, I just love the idea of like, that's mine. Like that, you know what I mean? You got a piece of property. You can see, well, where can I be? What can I afford? What can I afford? What do I have to do to be able to afford that? That's where I want to be. It's like, somebody wants to be somewhere, but they can't afford that. It's like, how do I send my kids to this school? How do I do, you know what I mean? It's like real estate is such a cool thing to me. And as an investment, I don't think there's not much better. It's just an appreciating asset. If you get a couple rental properties, I don't know where I would be without that, So I think real estate and fighting for me has helped me live a pretty good life at this point.
I remember at the time, like when you were doing that, because you did this as an athlete, which is not always the way it goes, right? Some people are trying to plan for that career after fighting, and some people, it's like that natural thing of like, I'm going into commentary, right? Like DC retires, he has a spot on the booth. Dustin Poirier, right? We've seen him. He was fighting, and now he's like doing commentary. This wasn't as natural, right? This was like a completely separate career for a lot of people, but you were doing things at the same time to build yourself up to here. And I do remember at the time, like Conor McGregor would say, like the real estate agent, like it wasn't necessarily looked at as like positively. It wasn't necessarily like everybody seeing like, oh, this is smart. This is like a really good idea that you're doing. What was your feeling when you were trying to do this as you were still trying to be a competitive athlete at the very top of the game, and people were like looking at this like, are you really focused or making fun of it or whatever?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I'm a guy that can kind of like joke at myself.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I'm not too serious in that aspect, but so like it was kind of like, I was like, all right, I'll like kind of like roll with it. You know what I mean? I'm just a real estate, but in my head, I'm like, this is fucking genius. Like everybody's talking about this.
Yeah.
Like every single person, they can't mention Al Iaquinta without saying real estate. I was like, maybe this is the best thing I ever did. And I just kept going with it. And, I did have, a real passion for it. I love where I live. I love Long Island. My father's been a head football coach at like some of the top high schools for my whole life. So I always like, you can't go, what is it, the degrees of separation with the Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Like you meet somebody on Long Island, one or two people that have some connection to my father in some way. 'Cause he's been a teacher in Lynbrook forever. He's been a coach at Hewlett Manhasset. Now he's at Belmar JFK, Lynbrook even for there. So, like, Long Island's just in my blood. You know what I mean? ever since I can remember, my dad like showing me. He was like my tour guide in life in Long Island, and now I like doing that for people, and it's kind of just like worked out perfectly. Yeah.
And you having a good sense of humor about it obviously helped. I remember the like Raging Al, the Twitter account.
Yeah.
That one was very funny. But
the one where anytime someone says XYZ owns you, they'll quote tweet it and be like, yeah, but how many houses do you own?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that guy's great. Did you ever meet that guy or
Aaron Weinbaum? We did a podcast for a little
while.
while.
Oh shit, that's incredible.
I've never met him in person, believe it or not.
Over Zoom,
but I feel like he just created this like parody account for me, and it was so funny. It was so good.
It was so good.
He does great with his investments. He's owned McDonald's, and that was like his first thing, and then he kind of got into real estate while we did this podcast. He heard about my Airbnb thing that I have going on, and he started doing Airbnbs, and now we're like competing on it on like our reviews and our 5-star ratings and stuff like that. And he's crushing it right now.
That's amazing.
Really good. Yeah,
that's amazing.
What a great story. And I was saying all that to say, like, it has now proven to be brilliant, right? Like, this has been an incredible move for you because, as you said, you're very successful in this new career, but also it has given you that thing that itch doesn't feel as strong, right? Now you have this career that you're completely doing. What would your recommendation or advice or be to like anybody who's a UFC fighter or any kind of like professional athlete who's feeling that, and then the end of the career is coming up where you have to make that transition, whether it be to real estate or something else? Like, how do you go through the mental process of that, and what would you say for them to do?
It's tough, man. It's a tough balance. It's a tough thing to like know when. For me, it just kind of came like naturally. Like I really just kind of, that whole surgery thing left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I kind of found this other thing at the right time. But I think if who knows? Maybe if I didn't find real estate, I would have went all in on fighting. I would have realized that was the only thing I had in my life, and I would have done better with that. Who knows? You know what I mean? So you don't really. That's the way it happened for me. And I think everybody's got to have their own journey, their own path. If it is like, listen, it's kind of like, what is the book? It is a book, a real estate guy, Keller Williams, Gary Keller, The One Thing. It was like, right, that's the name of the book. Have you heard of this book? The One Thing? Mm-hmm. It's like if you try to catch 2 rabbits, you'll never catch one. But if you aim for the one rabbit, and I'm like, it kind of like Dana White with this whole boxing thing. I'm almost like, are you trying to catch 3 rabbits with the slap and everything?
Boxing power slap.
Yeah. I like feel like fighting the UFC right now is missing like a little something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, we say that constantly because it does feel like it's almost like he's bored with the day-to-day of the UFC, the week-to-week, the fight nights with everything like that, because you see him going on these side quests with Turkey to do Canelo Crawford, and now he's starting up Zuffa boxing, and he's doing the power slap, and it feels like the only thing that's really getting him up is like these Sphere cards and these White House cards. Then he doesn't have the focus for these week-to-week, the UFC Rios, the UFC Vancouvers, where you can really start to build these stars. We've said that for a while. We're in 100% agreement with you.
Why didn't he bring Turkey into the UFC? Like, get him. He's just like a boxing guy?
Well, Turkey, Saudi has cards that they are doing with the UFC. So there is a business relationship on the MMA side. Saudi also has a deal. The Kingdom also has a deal with PFL as well. So they are.
Kingdom.
They are.
His Excellence.
His Excellency.
It's sick.
They are interested in MMA, but Turkey in particular is only passionate about boxing. He doesn't care about MMA. Yeah. He really, he is a boxing super fan who's getting to manipulate the game and see his fights that he wanted to see play out. Yeah. With MMA, he doesn't care about it. It's just a business relationship. But UFC does have a relationship with Saudi Arabia, as does PFL. And so they're in the combat sports realm. But as far as Turkey in particular, he is boxing. He bought the ring. He only cares about boxing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could ever, if you were Dana White, bring him in, or I don't think you'd want to, as you pointed out. This is my thing. Maybe you stay over there. Yeah. But it feels like that's also Turkey's thing now on the boxing side, and maybe Dana White, you kind of stay over here.
Yeah, I think it's not really working out like Dana White might have wanted it to.
We'll see, because they're doing they're going to do their version of the boxing cards that I think are going to be closer to Contender Series, where it's we're building it up. And I think Dana will have a lot more of his footprint on that. That will then lead to some of those fighters going toward these like bigger boxing cards. So let's see if that can ultimately be successful. They got a great deal where it's no loss for them.
Yeah.
Saudi is footing the bill and they get to produce all this content and build these fighters. The most interesting next step for me on that front is what's going to happen with the Muhammad Ali Act. They are trying to alter the Muhammad Ali Act, which many people think will be beneficial to them enacting a similar structure, like you said, where the UFC just ports over their thing into boxing. What happens there is going to be the big like next step.
Yeah, and if we're cheering for, the fighters to get paid better with the Paramount Plus deal and everything like that, like we want to keep the Muhammad Ali Act intact for the pay for these boxers going on Zuffa Boxing. It'll be fascinating.
Who's the guy? Who's our guy? The reporter up there. He got up there and asked that question.
Yeah, Sean Z.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
He was
yes,
pressing him
you
hard.
pressed him.
Set up the interview.
Yeah.
Set it up.
Do you think that interview will ever happen?
Never.
Never.
That interview's never happened.
I think Dana walked off the stage and was just like, make sure we make sure we never have an interview with that.
But you see a little stumbling block like that not happening in the UFC. Those guys they're picking John Morgan.
Yep.
There's the question. You know what I mean? There's nobody's pulling that stuff in the UFC game. So it could maybe open them up to some like
actual tough
scrutiny.
questions.
Exposed.
He did an interview with PBS Las Vegas and
Amber Dixon.
Amber Dixon. She was really pressing him hard on like some questions, and like she had some great rebuttals. Like he was like, "Well, I've been part of the MMA fighters have had massive paydays. Look at Conor McGregor," and she's like, "Yeah, in a boxing match against Floyd Mayweather."
I think
it's nice to see.
The one biggest difference beyond just like the media corps is like, the MMA space and UFC have had this issue for years and years and years, and everybody's already asked this, and nothing has changed. Whereas in boxing, we're coming from a system where the fighters are elevated already, right? They're protected and operating from the space, and now they're trying to take certain things away. So people are going to be more inclined to ask these questions, press this matter. If you show up to a UFC event and you're asking Dana White about like, do you think fighters should be paid more, this and that? It's like, he's done this for 10 years now. Nothing's changed. The fighters are not unionized. Nobody's pressing for this. The fighters themselves are not. So it's kind of like falling on deaf ears. Boxing has a real good status point that they're starting from. And now it's like, are you trying to take this away? That's the question.
Canelo didn't look like he said something, right? He was like, boxing has always been here. Boxing has always been good. Boxing will always be good. He wasn't really buying it. And Max Kellerman, what was he yapping about so much up there, right? Like, Jesus, like the savior's here?
If his excellency was never born, none of us would be here.
Yeah.
Right now.
That was crazy, dude.
It was crazy.
Come on. Like,
what were they calling him? Glazerman?
Yeah, boy, that's right. Glazerman.
I mean, you can't really bully these top level stars. Like you mentioned, Canelo Crawford was on the show with Helwani, and he was, throwing out the idea of the Topuria fight, and he's just like, what's that going to bring me? Like, what kind of money is that going to give to me, man? Like, why do I need to get involved with that? Like, if it's not going to be as big of a payday as I just got with Canelo, then I'm not interested in that. Like, these massive boxing stars are going to get their say in this.
For a guy of a Canelo, Terrence Crawford, they'd have to take a pay cut to fight a UFC fighter. Whereas for Ilia Topuria or anybody else, it'd be the biggest payday of their life times X. Like, it would be exponentially bigger like it was for Conor.
It's been 8 years and they're still bringing up the Conor one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a completely different economics. But Terrence Crawford, what do you make of that? Would you be interested in Ilia Topuria testing himself against a boxer? Like, do you think the idea of UFC or MMA fighter versus boxer is silly altogether? Or would you be interested in something like that in a rare circumstance? Like
in a rare circumstance, and I think that might be a great circumstance. The guy's got freaking, he's knocking out everybody. Guys in the UFC that haven't gotten knocked out. Max Holloway, like he's doing, you know what I mean? Volkanovski. These are guys that, that it looks like there's a professional boxer in there with professional MMA guys when he goes in there and fights. And then, you got to think like he's such a disadvantage because he's got all these other weapons to worry about. But maybe he gets in there and Crawford's a wrestler, isn't he? He shows some wrestling stuff, right?
There's been some videos.
What'd you think of the video of him sprawling on the front lawn? Did you see it?
I saw something. I think he put somebody in a cradle. I don't know who he had in a cradle, but it looked pretty good.
Let's get Terrence in the cage.
I know. I think we got to do like a modified. We got to do, what is it? Dirty boxing. Mike Perry.
Yeah, Mike Perry's doing that.
Round one we'll do boxing. Round two we'll do
like the ONE FC, right?
Yeah,
ONE FC. Make them do something like that. But if they fought in straight boxing. Obviously, where the odds would be probably, right? But I think it'd be something cool to see. What's the weight difference?
So Terrence, his last fight before Canelo was at 154, but he's been a 147 guy, and so he's right in the range of Ilya. He fought
right 145, 155.
He fought Canelo at a much higher weight, but that was just because it was Canelo. That's not where he's going to compete. It seems like he's saying he might settle at like the 160 range. Ilya and him at 160 would be fine.
They could find a weight to agree upon.
It almost seems like Ilya's just idolized Conor McGregor, coming up. It seems like there's so many similarities, but he's kind of like taking it to his own level, and Conor's done it before, so he's going to have to do something that Conor's never done.
That's right.
And beating a guy like that,
say he'd have to get the win.
That's the difference.
It's either that or 3 belts.
Impossible. Like
those are the two options. You win in the boxing match that Conor couldn't, or you win 3 belts. Those are the two options for how you separate.
Go up to 170.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a meme that goes around where it's like you are at this stage of the Conor McGregor career, and like Ilya is at the stage where he's calling out boxers now.
Yeah.
Like he got the 2 different belts, and then it's like return against the Dagestani, and it'd be Islam, and then break your leg.
Oh wow!
Imagine he wins at 170, and like that fight. That's a fight that I would have wanted to see at 155, but maybe it happens at 170, and then you win that fight at 170. You beat the Dagestani guy, and now you win the boxing match. I love it.
What do you think of like Islam Makhachev? But obviously you've been in there with Khabib. You've also been around the sport as Khabib was on the ascent. What do you make of like just the dominance of that team? Like what do you make of them being able to transfer from Khabib to Islam, missing no beats? Even a guy like Umar, who had a great fight with Merab, like definitely to me like the most interesting fight Merab's had, that I thought people could be competitive with him in a long time. What do you make of that team and that type of style?
I think they're all very similar to Merab in a lot of ways. They're 24/7, 365. Yeah. They come from an area where they kind of probably have like a little genetic advantage in like cardio, like like it's nature and nurture. They're naturally, they have a level that they can get to, and then once they put 24/7, 365. They get a whole nother level, and that's what's the difference between them and a lot of these guys. And I think Islam's just like he's like the 2.0 version. I think he's like a little longer, a little stand up, maybe more confident. He's definitely had Khabib to look up to, and then to take the ball and run with. I think Khabib was kind of more like the front runner, so he didn't have like he paved the way for Islam to run with the ball, and I think. It's a dangerous dude, you know what I mean? Yeah,
and even Usman, who's gonna compete for PFL, like they just don't lose. Like these guys are just unstoppable.
It's incredible. I mean, we saw Merab earlier this year fighting Nurmagomedov as a massive underdog in that fight. Like got up to like plus 200, which we found to be pretty crazy. Gets it done in incredible fashion. Comes back from being down 2 rounds to none. He's fighting in 2 weeks against Corey Sandhagen. We talked about him a little bit earlier in the show. Fighting in 2 weeks against Corey Sandhagen. The underdog price tags are gone. He is a minus 420 against Corey Sandhagen. Obviously, Merab very well. Like you have to assume he's going to be 100% ready for this.
I gotta think so. I mean, I saw he was sparring with Aljo, I think yesterday or the day before, and he's loving it. He loves Corey Sandhagen's the problems that he possesses and figuring out how to navigate that. And I just think he's just gonna he's on such a roll right now. He's just and guys are just fearing that cardio that you don't want to throw a punch, because if you miss your level goes down this much and then his level goes up this much, and and Corey's he's on a run. He's a dangerous guy. He's got some weapons that are crazy. He's great standing up. He's great on the ground. That middle, I think, is where Merab as always is probably going to pull away, and then the cardio too. I think it's stylistically a very good fight for Merab, and the odds makers agree. And Corey definitely poses a lot of problems, but I think Merab's just so focused. It's just not even a thing.
Do you think, like, if you had to say this style is the style that I think will have the best opportunity against Merab, right? Is it somebody like Corey who's super well-rounded, dangerous in the grappling, dangerous in the striking? Is it somebody like Umar who's like trying to match what Merab does? Ultimately, I think that's not the option, but I'm curious what you think because I think Merab's always going to be better, right? If you're trying to out Merab, you're going to lose that battle.
Yeah.
But I almost do feel like the other style, the like well-rounded style, is going to lose those middles, like you said. So what is the style that's going to pose the biggest threat to Merab?
That's the thing is you can't even imagine it. You try
Yeah.
to create the fighter to beat him, and you can't even create it in a lab. You know,
Yeah.
a guy that it would have to be. You know, you try to catch Merab early, and
Is that it? Is it O'Malley? You have to ice him if you can.
yeah,
basically?
but then if you don't and you try too hard, then you know it's almost like it's hard to do that because you got to expend the energy. You don't want to. You just it's just like in the back of your head. It gets you tired because you're just thinking. It's like if you like a mental thing. If you're just thinking like, don't get tired, don't get tired. The word tired is just always in your head. And before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm tired. I didn't even do anything yet. Just thinking about the word got me tired. You know what I mean? The guy's bouncing around in front of you, throwing punches. You think he's punching, he's shooting. You think he's shooting, he's punching. Then he shoots. You ended up on your back. It's crazy. I get I don't know. I get like claustrophobia just thinking about being locked in a cage with this guy. It's crazy.
I know, because on top of everything, man, he's just kind of a madman. Like, he's diving into lakes. I saw the other week he had a baseball bat and he was just hitting logs and like he's just like out for a jog.
Like cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks. Like, he's out for a jog before a title fight and he like tears his whole shin open. He's like, yeah, stitches will work. He had a giant cut on his finger before the last fight. Like, he's just a madman who's always going to be game. On top of that, you talked about Aljo. I mean, he's doing great at 145. Calling for a title shot, throwing his hat in the ring for it. Don't know if we'll get it with where Lerone Murphy is at and everything, but like he has seamlessly gone up to 145, taken on really tough fights, and like adjusted brilliantly to where he is in the title conversation.
He's right there. You know, in this game, all you got to be is like right there, and things happen. Things, you know what I mean? Things move around.
I mean, you were talking about it. You got that shot. And you took the opportunity.
Yeah. I think, you never know what can happen in this game, but as long as you're like in the conversation, anything can happen, and he's right there. I think he's deserving of a title shot. I can understand why people might not think so, and Murphy, right, is he's right there, but I don't know. I think that's probably the way the UFC will go, but I think Aljo's one fight away. You know what I mean? Definitely, and if the stars align, he could be right in there. Stay ready because it could happen at any moment.
I think his big advantage is he has a name, right? Lerone Murphy is a great fighter, but like name value wise, much more people know Aljamain Sterling, former champion. I think that's going to be his biggest advantage. I do think ultimately Lerone will get it and he has to fight one more. But like, as you said, if opportunity comes knocking, like he's a guy who could easily call and just be like, hey, come into this fight.
Yeah. No, he's that division's crazy too, right?
Yeah.
155, 145,
35.
35. I mean, well,
75.
35. I don't know about it. It's just kind of like Merab's like
dominating.
At this point, it's like everybody's like on this floor and Merab's on the second floor, just like fucking,
chilling,
running laps. And
even this real estate, first floor, second floor, 3 bedrooms upstairs.
Merab's got he's got the penthouse up there, right? Come on.
One other thing I want to get into, we were scrolling through the Twitter account before we got on, and there was a few tweets, a handful of tweets that we wanted to pick your brain on here. We can just start running through them. Just some tweets that we found. This idea, power slap but with calf kicks. So I'm assuming it's the same thing. You line up, but instead of taking a slap to the face, you take a kick to the calf.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what the heck I'm on Twitter. Maybe I have a couple of drinks. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a really good thing to.
Like, I want to know if you were watching Power Slap when you came up with that.
I'm gonna say I was probably watching like two idiots kick themselves in the leg.
Yeah,
and like I was like, oh, this is a great idea.
Well, the brilliance of it is the lack of brain damage. Like, at the end of the day, all you're hurting is the bones and the muscles down there, but.
I think people love the brain damage. These guys,
people do love the brain
poor
damage.
guys with the power slap.
Do you watch it, or are you just kind of like?
I don't know what So, I hated it, and then I
watched an episode.
Here comes the twist.
No, so this is Merab fights Peter Yan.
Yeah,
and it's me, Jason Griggs. He actually owns the Ultimate Fighter house right now, in the Power Slap house.
Wow, really?
So he's the
Holy
owner.
shit.
He's a good friend of mine. He's from Belmore, Long Island. He's right. He's
Oh,
our neighbor.
get outta here.
But he moved out to Vegas like 15 years ago. He was a club promoter. Ended up parlaying that into a real estate career. Owns a bunch of Airbnbs. Bought this sick Airbnb, and now the UFC does. So I'm with Griggs and a few other people, and we're like, oh, the Power Slap is tonight. So I text Sean Shelby. They were like, I think I was a little drunk already. Definitely don't give him tickets to the Power Slap. Amber from the UFC, she was, I'm sorry, Al, we're sold out. We don't have any tickets for you guys. I go, I'm with the guy that runs the Power Slap house. Can he? I go, we couldn't get tickets. So we snuck in. We just walked right in. I bought a Power Slap shirt. I acted like I was supposed to be there. We walk in. Someone's slapping, like, as we're like sneaking in, everybody's eyes are on the slap.
Yeah.
So they're not watching. So we're like, oh, this is perfect. They caught 3 of my friends, and me and Griggs got through. So it's just the 2 of us, and we're like texting. We're like, yo, we got in. We're in here. I look to my right, Amber, right there.
Oh,
she looks
shit.
over and she's like, what are you doing here? I was like, I couldn't miss it. I had to be here for this. So she ended up letting us stay, got us bracelets. She respected the fact that we weren't going to let anything take us back. And I watched that thing, and I was like, it's such a spectacle. It really does make you feel like, I don't know, like you're like sitting there and you're like,
Yeah.
kill him.
Yeah, like it's Gladiator.
You're just watching like these poor guys. It's like the guys like they just woke up and they were like, oh, let's pay these idiots to slap each other and like for our entertainment. And I'm like, there's no turning that thing into a sport.
It's not a sport.
It's a spectacle.
Yeah.
But there is something about it that's like, but there's also, it's like, oh, these poor guys. But I don't know. Maybe they need the money, and what else are they going to do? Maybe they could work a worse job than a little bit of brain damage to get some money. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I stuck into that, and I had a different. I don't know. Yeah. I still hate it.
It changed your perspective. You're not anti it. It's consumable, but you don't love it either.
Yeah. I don't know. I still watch it a little bit.
He became a fan.
Yeah, he loves it. He's the ambassador for Power Kick.
But I also I'm
No,
not.
by the way, nobody is a bigger fan than you because nobody has ever snuck into Power Slap. You're the number one Power Slap fan.
I snuck into that thing and I wasn't missing it for the world. Don't try to tell me I can't go to this. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna just say. But it's yeah, I'm almost like more like I'm like laughing with it kind of thing. I'm like, oh, Power Slap. Yeah, these guys like like whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's.
Did you know that those guys can use the UFC PI? Like they have the same benefits around the
Sign me
campus as Power Slap athletes.
They're on the UFC.com roster.
Yeah.
Like they're mixed in with UFC athletes.
Let's focus on the UFC. We got guys like
with you.
we got guys fighting in freaking Perth this weekend that I'm trying to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get to know them, even know who they
Yeah,
are.
I want to know these
With
guys.
you.
Let's do a little something, Get me. I shouldn't be getting me involved with these guys slapping each other.
I'm with you.
We should be watching these guys at Perth.
Tweet number 2. Here we go. Back to the tweets. Dricus versus Belal has to happen next. Can you sell us on this one? Is it Dricus cutting to 170 or is it Belal going up to 185?
They just got to fight. I feel like there was too many fighting words.
Yeah, I like
You're
it.
coming into my town.
Yeah.
Like, listen, if we're gonna act like we're like mobsters coming in, they gotta accept your, whatever, give you a ticket to my town, and then Dricus is in there, and then they're like booing him. That's like fight. Like that's got bro. People are booing me because of you. Let's go.
I feel like I'm starting to notice a trend here, which is that you are firmly in the camp of like, if we're talking shit to each other, you must back it up. Like, there's no fake, like, this is just for Twitter. If somebody says something, you feel like there's an impetus, like, we have to fight now. If you say some shit to me, we have to fight.
And it gets to a certain level where it's like, all right, there's like certain things you could say to build a fight, but then if freaking 5,000 people are booing me, I don't know, because of you, because you had to. And you're not even in my weight class. So what are we even talking about? Why are you gonna say I'm coming into your town? I don't know how did that whole thing start?
I think
Drickus
is
is always
doesn't
kind
like
of like
Belal.
Yeah, Drickus is always
Yeah.
kind of taking shots at Belal, and Belal was trying to get his get back.
And Belal needs to get back. And this is the one. Like everyone clowns on me and has to throw. People are like, you know what I mean? I want to see Belal get crazy. Belal's got to get a little crazy.
He needs to fight
he's
right
too
now.
nice. You know what I mean? You get him very streakish and make him eat his words, and then people, now what? They want to freaking the guys with the questions in the audience when he was doing that interview. Yeah, what now?
I
You know
like
what
it.
I mean?
I like
all right, Belal DDP at 180 catch weight. All right, tweet number 3.
Oh no.
You've never seen a baby seagull.
Have you seen a baby seagull ever? What the
No, I haven't, but like they have to exist because we've seen grown seagulls.
They just, I don't know how it works. There's never like a, have you ever seen a baby?
I have not, but that's a great tweet.
I don't understand. I don't know what I was doing, but I was just thinking.
Is this how
probably
you
on the
walk in the
beach
beach and you're like, I've never
I
seen
was
him, or is this
probably
you've
like-
had a couple drinks and you're like, you know what, I've never fucking
I was
seen one.
definitely at the beach. We were just talking at the beach. I'm at the beach a lot. I think about seagulls a lot.
All right, tweet number 4.
Oh, God.
You quit Zins for a week and you got COVID. You do the math, Jimmy.
I love it.
Listen, they say that nicotine can have some effects with viruses and stuff. That's all I was getting at.
No need to quit now.
Yeah, I did kind of quit. They just phased out. I don't know. They started tasting bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like doing like crazy Zins. Like freaking.
It really caught on for a while where everyone was doing them. Now I
Yeah.
feel like they've kind of chilled out a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. It can't be good for you.
Nah, I can't.
But I didn't get COVID while I was doing the Zins. I'll tell you that. I don't think it was COVID, but it was a good tweet.
It was a good tweet. All right, tweet number 5 or 4, one of the. One of the two. My favorite thing to do at the airport is run up a crazy tab at the bar and sneak away and get on the plane.
I've never done that. Ever.
I thought this was a confession right here. We can use the court of law.
They'd get you. I was just saying that.
It does make you wonder. Like, I mean, sometimes those bars are right by the gates. Like, it's just like, yo, I'm gonna go piss right quick, and then you just get. Did that guy just get on the plane? Like, you're gone. Especially if you're never coming back to that city.
I just saw a video of a guy who didn't pay his bar tab at the airport, and like cops coming to him and confronting him about it.
Shut up. Like
Yeah.
when he landed in the next
No,
city?
no.
Oh,
he doesn't
okay.
sneak onto the plane. That's the problem. He was at the gate, and they were like, "Sir, like you didn't pay," and then he did a whole thing. But yeah, I guess the key is you got to be near your gate, and then you could just sneak on the plane.
Maybe
Not that we're condoning this. We do not condone this.
Nah, I condone it. Tweet number 5, tweet number 6, whatever, the last one. Oh, yes. I would like the word tabernacle to have an increased usage in my life and yours. This is like 6 months ago to the day. So like 6 months later, have we been able to increase? I noticed so far, we're like an hour 36 into this. No tabernacles yet.
I don't think I've said the word since I tweeted that. What a great word, though.
I mean,
Tabernacle?
It is, yeah. I mean, there was a venue. I'm from Atlanta. There was a concert venue called the Tabernacle, and it gave you this image of this like real powerful, great place, and it was like a rundown shack, but the name carried it.
It's a great word. I feel like I looked up the definition. I can't remember. It's got something to do with.
I've actually got it right here. It's a
do we got?
sacred place or object with meanings varying by context, but always relating to dwelling or housing something sacred. So if you're in a tabernacle, it's sacred.
Yeah,
Or if you have a tabernacle.
It's a good word.
great word, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like I'm seeing some blueprints for buildings of it. Who knows? Maybe one day you're selling a tabernacle.
I gotta find the tabernacle. We just added a goal to the list.
I mean,
Gotta write
tabernacle.
that down. Lifetime goals: sell the tabernacle.
It truly is. It's a fantastic word. Those are some great tweets. I was just scrolling through. I was just like, I like it. The stream of consciousness from Raging Al.
I have one more thing. We have a segment called voicemails, which we're going to do after this. But I have one more question for you, which is, it sounded like you were saying like Dylan Dennis's name. You know, he wouldn't want to fight. Is that a goal? You said you have some goals. Would you consider Dylan Dennis?
Yeah. I don't even want to give the time of day. I would beat the crap out of that guy so bad. What is he gonna do?
He's
I mean,
back. He's
fighting for Misfits.
He's the
in MMA.
He's the
Nobody.
Misfits light heavyweight champ.
He's like the opposite of what like who are you fighting, bro?
Okay, the one
mechanic.
The one thing I'll say in his defense was he was signed up through GFL to fight Tony Ferguson. He was going to fight Tony in MMA.
Still, what are you doing? I don't know.
I mean, Mams, Misfits, they could give you a call.
I would beat the crap out of that guy so bad. He can make that fight happen, but he won't. Guaranteed. He's not fighting anybody tough.
You think it's gonna be more like the influencer guys like he just fought?
He's not gonna. You know what I mean? And if he did fight, it would be a disaster. He's not gonna put him up and fucking throw some punches. You know what I mean? He's not. He's like, who did he fight? Logan Paul.
He fought Logan. Yeah.
That was
that was pretty bad.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I would be embarrassed. My dad would never talk to me again if I fought like that. He would. That was one of the most disgusting. Like, the guy didn't throw a punch. He tried to do a guillotine at the end. He couldn't even get that right. And he goes in there. He guillotines this guy in like 10 seconds. The guy doesn't even know what a guillotine is. He said, "I'm not training jiu-jitsu." Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, the mechanic shooting for a takedown against a BJJ
that was
black
just
belt.
So that whole
Dumb.
thing. But I mean, yeah.
I'm going to give Dylan Dennis a little bit of bail here, which is I do think people have come to hate him so much. They forget that he is actually good at jiu-jitsu, and he was like a decent prospect for Bellator. Like, when he was fighting in MMA, like, he was doing a decent progression. He was kind of on his way up. But it's been a long time since we've seen that from him, so I think people are just like, fuck this guy, he sucks, he stinks. Like, jiu-jitsu-wise, like, he's still a dude. In MMA, I don't know, maybe he could compete.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu-wise, that only gets you so far nowadays.
Yeah.
We're going to pull guard against a guy?
Somebody raining down punches on you.
Yeah, it's not, this isn't, you know.
I'll tell you what, I would watch Raging Al versus Dylan Dennis.
Don't make me get back in shape. I feel like I'd kick the crap out of him with that, like, just on, like, real estate shape instincts and, like, redefined meals that I'm eating.
You come from the open house to smash him up.
Or it happens in an open house.
Yeah.
I mean, we could make it happen.
All right, so we do have.
But if he wants to freaking fight, I'll kick the shit. You tell me, I'm not bad. I'm not
Go to a
saying
single.
no.
I want go to the single here.
Here we go. Let's have Al cut a promo.
No. Don't. I'm not cutting a promo. Don't put me on. I don't belittle me. Make it. Oh, if I was guy fought freaking Khabib Nurmagomedov, you're gonna make me freaking cut a promo for
Khabib fought Dylan too outside the cage after the Conor fight.
Exactly. If I catch him on the street, I'll freaking. It almost
Have you guys ever, like, he's obviously from the tri-state area. Like, have you guys ever run into each other?
Yeah, once I knew that he had just had surgery, and I kind of like, I don't know, I let him off the hook.
Oh, so there was like a encounter somewhere. But
yeah, he was trying to. It was during COVID. I don't even want to talk about it.
All right.
He got off. He knows he got off the hook. It was me with a bunch of girls, and it was him with freaking. It was me with like we were like couple. It was like couples, and then he was with like freaking a couple of his fighter friends, and he was hobbling around. What are you talking shit for? You just had knee. Had knee surgery, bro.
He's just crutching in. Hey, fuck you out
once, bro. Get out of here. So yeah, just I know that guy, like what he's all about. Good for him. He's maybe making some money, but is that how you want to go out in life? I don't know. You didn't throw a punch against the Logan Paul. You pulled a guillotine. You're freaking fighting, you know. But hey, whatever. You're making money. It's all nice. I hope he's doing all right. I hope he doesn't cry when he sees this.
I like it. It's a happy ending.
All right, so we do have a segment called voicemails. Not very creative. It's literally voicemails. There it is. Voicemail. A little production for you. Fans call in, leave us voicemails. But we said last week, we got Al Iaquinta coming in studio. Leave him a voicemail. So these voicemails are going to be, hopefully, targeted to you for you to answer.
Yeah, we'll see if there's some for you, hopefully.
Ahoy, hoy.
Yo, what's up, guys? Shout out to everyone. It's your boy Connor here, 2 N's, 2 O's from Yardley, PA.
Oh, I like that.
Shout out to the 215.
Shout out.
My question is, are the cards really as thin as everyone is saying in terms of stars, or is the UFC just doing a terrible job at making the fans care about the new age fighters? Like, I feel like a Nate Diaz or another win-loss fighter doesn't get as famous if they were to come up in today's era. I feel like the people with records short of a Hamza or Islam don't get the love anymore, causing the star pool to be so thin. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. Keep up the great work. Peace. Samaria.
Yeah, so I mean, we were kind of just saying that. Like, I think we're all in agreement when it comes to that. Like, it feels like there's not enough love to these normal fight nights.
I'm not calling Nate Diaz a win-loss fighter. The guy beat Conor like short notice. You know what I mean? I don't know. And he had his brother, and his brother was at a time when he was like, you know what I mean? But I do agree with a lot of that stuff. I think, yeah, there's a lot of stars out there. I think there's a lot of stars on this weekend's card coming up. There's a lot of stars that are in these upcoming cards that really need to be given the shot. You know what I mean? A little less power slap, a little more UFC Perth. You know?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that we've kind of been circling around, and this caller is pointing out, is like the personalities are not really shining through. It's kind of just like you get from week to week, you get from fight night to fight night, and you don't really have people like breaking through, like to learn more about them. Like, you're a great example, right? Like, you had so many fans through the bulk of your UFC career. It wasn't just like when you're finally fighting for a title. A guy like Merab really didn't get like highlighted until he's like near championship level. I feel like the era is a little bit different. Like, we want to see like more of the personalities and see it come through.
And I think that's why this show is so great, because this is one of the last of the Mohicans with this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this gives the fighters the platform. And I think for fighters that choose not to come on, it's doing them a big disservice, or for whatever reason or not, right? But I think that I think Ariel and you guys have been a big part of the sports like development. And I think Dana was joking a little bit, you know, when he said maybe he should, but maybe in the back of his mind, he's like, you know what I mean? While I'm going off doing a little bit of a power slap and boxing, maybe these guys could find some stars for me. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, it's a great point. Like, Ariel has always been here to highlight the people's personalities, let people into that, learn more about them. And the UFC seemingly is not like as invested in that as they once were.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, boys, I'm back. It's Jimmer.
What's up, Jim?
So it looks like we're getting Conor McGregor on the White House card, and it looks like Michael Chandler's finally going to get his date after all that time waiting. But my question to you guys is, do you think there is a world of possibility where Conor McGregor wins against Michael Chandler and fights Max Holloway for the BMF championship? To be honest, I thought that they were going to headline the White House with Conor fighting for the BMF belt, because it just doesn't really make sense for him to headline over Amanda and Kayla if he isn't fighting for a belt. But I guess he's Conor and rules don't really apply to him. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think. Shout out Andy, shout out On Air Jordan, shout out Rick, shout out GC, and most importantly, shout out Frankie. Love you guys. Cheers.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if we see Conor come back, then nothing would shock me. It's just about him getting into the octagon for that fight back.
Yeah.
I don't really see that fight happening, him and Max, but maybe.
And it does kind of feel like they're at different wavelengths right now in terms of their career. Like, Max is still trying to make this push for a rematch against Ilya at 155, whereas Conor, we have no idea where he's at in his fighting career.
Yeah.
It's a good fight, though. I'd watch it.
I mean, of course.
If they did it.
It was good, boys. This is Chris from Los Angeles. I got a question for you guys. First, shout out all three of you. Shout out Andy in the back. Question though. Why doesn't anyone, in terms of like when they say pound for pound, how come they don't give credit to actual fighters who, I guess in my opinion, pound for pound is people who moved up and moved down in weight and had success? Like, I feel like a guy like Frankie Edgar, who was a very much undersized lightweight, and he went down to featherweight, fought up all the way to several title shots there. And I think he beat Pedro Munoz, and that made him a top 5 ranked bantamweight. So he was ranked top 5 in 3 divisions. Yeah, guys like Hendo, who was a middleweight champion, light heavyweight champion, beat Fedor. I think that was at heavyweight strike force, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Fedor's doughy ass can make light heavyweight. No, shout out Fedor though. Shout out Fedor. And also, you know, like Conor, you know, I mean, I know he fought Nate at welterweight. That's a lightweight, but Nate is, you know, he's now a welterweight. So, how come we don't really recognize pound for pound as people who can actually just move up in weight and whatnot? I feel like that's what they do in boxing, and that's what Crawford kind of did. But let me know what you guys think. I got a fun question for you guys next week if you pick this one up. All right, peace.
What do you think, Al? We were talking about Frankie. I was saying, like, I think he's one of the most underrated. I think Hendo falls into that class too, where it's like going up and slaying giants. Like, maybe we start here. Like, what is your definition of pound for pound? Do you look at pound for pound? Do you care about it? And if you do, like, what's pound for pound?
I think pound for pound to me is almost kind of like the real BMF. You know what I mean? Like the guy that's like the guy you want to be. You know what I mean? Like you're like the champion of champions.
Yeah.
You know, like in the wrestling tournaments, it was always like you do the wrestling tournament, and in each tournament, it was the 135 weight class, 141, 130, each weight class, and at the end there would be the most outstanding wrestler, and that was like the guy. And all the champions I think would vote, and all the coaches, like it would be like kind of like the people's people. You know what I mean? That's kind of like how I like define the pound for pound.
And do you think like a guy like a Frankie Edgar is kind of like, I think he's underrated. I don't know if you agree, but I just feel like somebody who can go up weight classes and have success, to me, is a very significant feat. I know title defenses is one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing that you could possibly do, right? Because you're just churning through contenders. You're facing the top of the top. But the idea of a guy like Ilia Topuria moving up in weight, to me, is very significant and matters, because you're now facing a whole new different set of people with different skills and physicality. Islam, if he's able to do it at 170, I think that's very significant. So I put a lot of weight into being able to do that.
I love when it seems like it doesn't happen now. It's only like guys are like in their division, they win the belt, and then maybe move up. I remember when Anderson Silva fought James Irvin. Remember that?
Yep.
That was so cool.
Forrest.
Yeah, and that was like a way to like build a guy up. It was like, all right, he's not fighting like a top 10 guy in the weight class above, but he's going up. He's fighting a guy. It was kind of like something really cool about that. And he knocked him out. You know what I mean? I think that did a really good. That was like really big for Anderson at the time. I thought that was cool.
BJ was my favorite fighter for so long because of that.
So man, he didn't care about anything.
He didn't give a shit.
By the way, Conor moved through weight classes.
Yeah.
Going from 145, 170, 155, just taking any fight that's available to him and just building that star power.
I mean, shout out Kevin Holland, Let's not sleep on the man who bounces between divisions.
Yeah.
Like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Big fan. My name's Christian. Checking in because I'm down 55 pounds. Going for a good 70-pounder in terms of how much I'm trying to drop to reach peak sexy. Question for you guys. Yesterday, I decided that I'm going to meal prep everything for the next 5 weeks. And I had my last supper, quote unquote, which was just some straight up fried fish. Had about 8 pieces of fried fish with some rice and peas and collard greens. So my question to you guys, what is your favorite cheat meal or your guilty pleasure as it pertains to unhealthy eats? Love the show. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Oh man, what was it for you? Like you just got done with a camp.
A fight.
Yeah, you just got done with a fight, and you get to just go ham. What are you
First
going
off,
for?
the fish fried's probably not the best, but peas and collard greens doesn't.
It sounds like a nice southern meal.
It wasn't too bad. You could do a lot worse than what he did.
Somewhere, I think for me, it's like I like chicken parmesan with the ice cream at the end.
Oh, yeah.
The ice cream, I could just eat ice cream till I explode.
Oh, same, dude. I put back a whole pint across the course of this past weekend. I mean, it's just too easy to put down.
Yeah.
Like pizza. I'm a dangerous man around a pizza. 6, 7 slices, no problem.
Okay, so is it carbs more? Is it sweets more? Like, what's your lane? Like,
It's
what's
the
your
combo of them.
Both.
Having 6, 7 slices of pizza and then putting down half a pint of ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah.
Those are rare nights for me, but it's no problem.
when you were cutting, there's some guys who watch Food Network and shit like that. Are you that guy, or were you don't be around me with food?
Nah, we were, and before the Ultimate Fighter, we got locked in the Palace Station for a week, and I would just watch the food. They had some incredible food.
Oh man,
stations
that's not
about,
torture.
About what was going on in Vegas with the food. And I put together a whole list in my head of the places I wanted to hit. I never hit them, but I was definitely watching the Food Network, and yeah.
That's a particularly crazy one because you're not getting out of here for weeks. You have to do this cut multiple times on the show.
Yeah.
So that's not torture. That's not the worst case scenario for you. Because I could see myself just going nuts, being I can't eat this for weeks and going crazy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I don't think it's. At that point, I mean, if it was like right there in front of me, maybe
You would have pounded it.
Even that, not even. I think you're so focused on like what you got to do. For me, it was like, I actually liked cutting weight. I was like, I'm a freaking gladiator savage.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm doing this for my fucking dream. You know what I mean? Like that was like, it was like I liked. I felt so focused when I was cutting weight. It was like everything like 24/7 was about fighting because I was just not, you know, I was like, oh. I'm counting down like the minutes till I could have a banana with freaking almond butter. You know what I mean?
What,
like sick.
What do you think about the Ultimate Fighter at this point? Or you don't think
I feel
about
like
it
that
as the
face
answer?
says it all.
They gotta do the Ultimate Fighter in Vegas. Let them go out. They gotta change the thing.
Real world.
Add drama is what you're saying.
Add the drama. We've seen it already. There's enough. Like nowadays, you know, like people are scrolling on Instagram too much. They can't even focus for a freaking. I want to see some crazy. I want to see them. I want to see like who's tempted to go out. You know what I mean?
Oh, this
when
is
the guy
great.
when the guy jumped the fence and he like snuck out, tail whatever his name
Yeah.
was. You know what I mean? Like
How often do they do men's and women's, or is it all? Do they ever
only
mix
did that
it?
once? I don't think they really.
I know
do that.
I know where you're getting at.
Mixing the men's and the women's, putting them all in the same
I don't
house?
think that's the move. I think, yeah, you want the girls from like, you want like, we're gonna put you like on the strip,
Yeah.
like, right next to like, you know, we're gonna put you like.
There's some
like,
establishments. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna be like tempted. You know what I mean? We used to in the Ultimate Fighter. We used to see the light from the Luxor.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And we would just be like, we'd look at the light and we'd be like, oh, we're right there. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you could go out and like, that's when you're like, oh.
That's real discipline.
Yeah.
You really got to be
Then
locked
you got
in.
like the Dagestani Muslim guy and you got
Yeah.
then you got like Junie Browning right
Yep.
next to him
Yeah.
and this guy's going out. He's coming back drunk and he's got this. I want to see it just once. I've been thinking about this for a very long time.
What about
It needs to
live?
spark bad.
What about live? Do you think that added like something and could be done again?
I think it definitely could add. Yeah, I think and if you put two of those together, you're allowed to go out
And the live?
and the live. You know,
Now we're
you could bet,
cooking.
You could bet on the fights. You bet on the guy, and then you're like, oh no, he went
went out.
He went to the club. No way. You know.
Yeah, I like that.
That's not
I like
bad. That is not bad now. Because I've long thought it's just dead and can't be revived, but actually that's not a bad idea.
It would be like.
I wonder how many fighters you actually get out of it. I think everybody succumbs to the temptation.
Well, but then you got like the guys that lose, but they stay. You got to stay in the house. You know what I mean? So it's you know what I mean. Like you
Yeah,
stay
but
in
now
the
they're
house.
going to the club every night, and you're sitting here suffering, sweating in the sauna suit.
And then like the last day, Dana goes, "All right, we're actually giving you all a fight now."
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's what they do. They surprise with the guys that have been going to the
Like, all right,
clubs.
you got 1 week to make weight and go.
Yeah, you get another chance. At
This isn't bad, Al. I gotta tell you, I'm in.
It's a reality show. You got to make it one.
The boys. What up? I'm going to keep it short because I kind of hate the sound of my own voice. Just want to give a couple shout outs. Shout out to the Queen Andy.
Shout out to
And
Andy.
shout out Jordan. What
Shout
up?
out to Jordan. Neither of them are here.
Also, shout out Frank.
Yeah, shout out to Frank.
Haven't seen you on a ranked jerkmate in a while, man. I hope everything is all
Jesus,
good.
what
I
is
just hit
that?
diamond. Also, shout out to my brother NY Ricky Taki. And also, as I'm sure everybody knows, I am the #1 GC mark, Gastro Connor.
Yeah,
shout out, man.
Shout out.
Also, the only thing we really disagree on is the quality of the Lord of the Rings franchise, but, you know, all good, all good. Thumbs up to the chat. Big shout out to the chat. You know, coming to you from Louisville, Kentucky. It's your boy, Frito.
Appreciate the call, man.
Wait, was that it?
That was
That's
good, I
it.
guess.
He's just
You a
wanted
Lord
to
of the
get
Rings guy?
Guys, do you want to go
I was
into
gonna
it?
ask the same.
He's a Lord of the Rings hater
They're
as well.
trash. They're trash.
I never got into it.
Just didn't have the time commitment, right? Like who can sit down and watch 9 hours of walking? Who can do this?
It seems like there's a whole like world over there with the Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh yeah,
Like a
not much going on in it though.
Yeah, no, I couldn't even make fun of it because I don't know enough of it.
There we go.
What,
There we go.
What's a guilty pleasure like Al Iaquinta? You finish the day job for the day. You're just at home. What are you doing? Like what's your like thing that you just go to? Hobby, whatever.
I got a boat.
Oh
yeah. So I go out on the boat a lot.
That's nice.
That's my. skipped the gym about every single day this summer to go out on the boat. You know,
That's nice.
It's hard to resist.
it's hard. And I bought it 3 years ago, and I had to fix it a lot. And finally, this is the first full summer where I've used it. It's the reason that you live so close to the water. You just got to make it happen. You know.
Life is good, man. Life is good out on Wonton, Long Island. All right, so we've been on TV this whole time. We got to bounce off TV, so we're going to take a quick 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back here, finish up the voicemails with Al Iaquinta, and then we'll bounce.
Looking back, how did you handle fame?
You forget. I've been around and in a room with The Rock. That's fame.
Right. Okay.
That's fame.
So you didn't walk around thinking like you were okay.
No, I've never considered myself famous in any way. Be in a room with The Rock. Every eye's on him. Everybody wants a piece of him. Everybody wants to go up to him. I've never experienced that.
So I chose to take the approach with Clemson that one of two things is going to happen. One is, there's a bunch of returning starters, but really they're just returning a bunch of guys who weren't really elite last year, and so you're just going to get more of the same, and it's going to be a big disappointment. Or they really are going to be one of the best teams in the country, and Dabo's going to have the ultimate I told you so dunk on the entirety of the college football public moment. Well, the latter is not going to happen.
So for OKC, I feel like they should be the favorites again. Does development plateau for this young roster, or do they keep ascending?
The Thunder are set up to succeed. I think that's the one thing we have all talked about as far as the scary part of last year. It's not just how good they were, it's that they're set up to continue to be good. And I believe in the structure they have to be able to replicate a lot of success.
I'm the one who put DJ Lagway number 1 on his list of quarterbacks, not for the SEC, not for the state of Florida, not for Alachua County, but for the entire country. And for that, I apologize.
Maybe we should have given more credence to A, he's young, B, he's missed a lot of time with injury, C, he just hasn't played enough football yet. I feel like we are wrong, but I don't want to give up on the potential of that happening. Now, whether that's at Florida next year or somewhere else.
All right, welcome back, Frankie. Let's keep rolling with the voicemails.
Hey, it's 24-inch Dubs. I got a question here, okay? What piece of UFC merch or something from the day of a fight, like gloves or something you have kept that's, I don't want to say different, usual? Maybe you kept like a brochure from the arena or something. Good stuff as always, guys. 24-inch Dubs. I'm out.
Al, what do you have? Like, what mementos do you have, if anything?
I got a lot of stuff. I'm a collector of things like that. I don't know.
Meaning for not just your own stuff, but like other fighters and other MMA things.
Yeah. I got like a pretty cool the fighters locker room from like Abu Dhabi. So like fighters locker room that has like all the Arab writing. It's pretty cool. It's above my garage, which is the gym. So it's like
I love that.
Gym, you know. I got the sign. I just my fiance found it recently, and she was going through like cleaning out my my suitcases at UFC Brooklyn, the one with where I fought Khabib. They forgot my sign. You know what? At Media Day.
Yeah.
They forgot to get me a sign. So I wrote Raging Al on a piece of paper.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And it was at the time. It was like right when I was like off for a while and like hated the UFC and me were like this.
Yeah.
And then they forget my freaking sign. And Ariel was like, they did it on purpose. And I was like, I don't think they did. They called it. They were very apologetic. Mark
LaMonica?
Mark LaMonica. He called me. Like it was maybe like 20 minutes before we were going to leave. And he was like, hey man, I'm here. I just want to let you know they forgot your sign. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, your sign, like you don't have one. It's like not here. Like they forgot it. And then like 10 minutes. So I got prepared for this. I was like, huh. I was like, all right. Made my own sign and acted like it was nothing. Like it was, I was like, I no problem. I brought my own. I brought my own son. No, like they thought I was gonna bug out about it. So like he gave me like the heads up.
Yeah, that's great.
I didn't even think about it. And then she was like, "Oh, what is this?" It was like it said Raging Al on it. It's like all faded and it's like washed through. It's like great. Like I still have that. That's a
great.
pretty cool one. But the gloves, I keep all the gloves.
Yeah.
I've given away a few, stuff like that. But
You get the posters from each event?
I have the posters. I have those hung up in my house. Most of them. Yeah. Those are cool.
Sick.
There's always like conversation starters.
Oh yeah, great mementos.
That's like the type of thing though that we're talking about the personality, right? Even something like that, like there's just no opportunity for stuff like that to happen anymore. For you to have not have the thing, then you show up. Like it's just they show up to the dais, they do their 5 minutes, they get out. Like even I remember Nate Diaz like drew over. Ariel always loves that one. He like drew over the one for the cowboy fight. Like there's just these like moments that we're kind of missing. I mean, I feel like you've probably talked about this 1,000 times, but like we do have to talk maybe about the bus incident, like that card that week. How crazy was it being in the bus as that's all going on? Like
that was just the craziest thing. I was just on Frankie Edgar's podcast and we talked about this like a lot, and it brought back a lot of the memories from it. It was in the Barclays Center. There's an elevator that goes up and down with the bus because it's in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of room. Let me throw this somewhere.
Yeah, just throw this. We'll take it.
Yeah, because I'm chewing on things.
Just stick it under the desk.
Yeah, there we go. So the bus goes in on the ground level, like off the street, and like pulls into this garage, and then it goes down, and there's like a dial, and it turns it, and then the bus pulls in like underneath in like the basement. So we did the press conference. They forgot my sign. I squared up with Felder. We get back in the bus, and Khabib's right behind me. And the bus is like pulling into the elevator, and we hear banging. Now, at first I thought it was fans or something. I was like, oh, they're like fans, something, want to like whatever. And then it was like aggressive, and I thought they were running people. I thought they were running. I thought it was like, stop, you're killing somebody, because it was like really aggressive.
Like who could be doing this? Like
so in my head I'm like, oh, fans, cool. Oh shit, no, they're running someone over, and then something comes flying through the window. We were in the back right, and then that was the front left, where like Rose, Michael Chiesa, another his name begins with a B. He couldn't fight too. We got caught, but they were in the front left, so I couldn't see. All I just see is glass come flying through the window. And it was like a bomb went off. I go, oh, shit. I was like, I'm trapped on a bus.
Okay, what's your first instinct? Are you thinking safety, or are you thinking like something's about to kick off? Like what was your like mind as soon as that moment happened? Once the glass shatters,
The glass shattered, I was like, almost like, I was hoping there was something that we could like fight our way out of. I was like, I'm on a bus with a bunch of fighters. I hope that they don't have guns. I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you wanted to fight. You're saying, I hope if there's a bad scenario, like it's something where it's fair, like we can find a way out.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I kind of thought it was like an act of terrorism or like something.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, this is not good. I thought it was like probably like the worst. It was like, this is going to be like a life-changing event. Like some people might not make it off this. But it was like split second. It was, I don't even think I thought that, but it just like, it was kind of like, it was like not good. You know what I mean? And then 2 seconds later, he comes running around the other side and he's banging on the window at Khabib. And I was like, whoa. I pulled out my camera and I was like, I started filming. And,
You're like, oh shit, what is this guy? What is Khabib doing during this?
He was behind us. He didn't know what was going on. I don't think either. And then once he came off, he was like yelling back, but we couldn't get off. We were in the back. And they wanted to get off.
Yeah.
They wanted to get off and fight the guy.
I'm sure they
did. I was
did.
kind of like, I kind of want to fight him too now too.
It's scary as fuck.
What's going on here? And everybody was going nuts. And the best, and I did Provino dirty last week when I was Chris Provino he worked with the UFC, right? So he was on the bus. The whole thing happens. We get off the bus and Provino you know, the cops were in like, they took us to like a back room and the police are like asking us kind of like questions. Everyone's like trying to figure out how the hell these guys, who was he with? What the hell? Where'd he go? And Khabib goes to Pravino and he was like, haha, Pravino, you got in the position with the plane. Like when a plane goes down.
Yeah. Tuck the legs, tuck the head in.
And Pravino was like, no, I didn't. What do you like? But Khabib said that like it was hysterical, you know? And I kind of like ran with it. And I think he got really mad at me over the years because I said it like a couple times. And then I said it again on
with Frankie?
On Frankie's podcast. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, the chances that Pravino listens to this podcast are probably not great. But there's a chance. I said, he's probably not going to be happy with me. Sure enough, they clip.
The clip didn't post it?
That was the one clip. They posted like 3 clips. That was the one. I got a message from Pravino. LOL. Like, shake my head. I was like, oh no. So I don't know if it really happened. But I didn't see it happen. Khabib said it.
I don't even believe him, honestly.
That's a
Dolly came
perfectly
blasting through the window.
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm
might do the
saying.
same thing,
Yeah.
bro.
I'd do that 100%.
I'd be like, yeah, man, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
That was the situation. I used that as like kind of like that was kind of like what we thought was going on. It was like this. We don't know. You know, it was
crazy, dude.
How quickly did people realize like that, like Rose, Chiesa, like that people were actually like hurt, like beyond just like, oh, the glass is broken, but like people are like hurt.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, it was. Reed Harris was there yelling like what he was yelling something, and then somebody was like, "Oh, it's Connor," and he was like, well, "What? Like what the fuck? Like how does he? He's not even like he wasn't even in the like thought.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be there.
Yep.
He took a private jet. Must have been partying for 10 hours on the jet before he got.
Yeah.
You know, he gets there and he's just freaking going nuts. But
and then they put it on the embedded episode that week.
No. They did?
Yeah.
Because wasn't there a whole thing where they like held it back for a while? They're like, because Dana was so upset about it. He's like, this is the most disgusting thing. I don't think they used it right away.
I got the UFC 223 embedded episode 5, and it's got 10 million
Yeah,
views.
they're not suppressing that. Will Harris, I think.
I thought it came out later, but that's crazy. And then obviously you get a huge opportunity, and it's like how. Obviously, that must have been a mentally taxing week, right? Like, it's just like the craziest shit in your life is happening all at once.
I didn't sleep much. Like that whole week was just nuts. You know, you don't sleep the night before the fight because you night before the weigh-ins because you're cutting weight.
Yeah,
so you always get a bad night's sleep. You barely sleep. But that was the busting happened. Then I had to cut weight. All the fighters had to cut weight. You know, cut the rest of your weight. The weigh-ins the next morning. Then you don't sleep well. The weigh-ins happen, and then like. You know, 30 minutes later, you find out Max isn't going to make it. And then like 2 hours later, I find out I'm fighting, 24 hours, 36 hours later, next day for the championship. It was, my adrenaline carried me through that whole weekend. It was wild. If I ever have a crazier weekend in my life, that would be a problem.
Yeah, you would have had a nuts weekend. Was there any negotiation or was it just like title shot, I'm in? Like, how did that go?
I was pretty much like, at that point, I think I had fought like a year before that, and then I had a year layoff. That was where I was negotiating a lot before that fight. I ended up getting a good, a big uptick in my pay to fight Felder, and didn't even matter because they ended up, giving me, the big bonus for the title shot. But I probably could have, I was just at that point so focused on trying to win the fight that I was like, yeah, I don't even care. Anything I get is more than I was gonna get, and
Well, there's a world where it's like they, go somewhere else, right? Like if they say like,
that too.
Yeah, so you're just like, I'm in. Put me in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's such an opportunity, and I think it was the best thing rather than negotiate. I mean, I probably could have. So they kind of like verbally. I forget how it happened, but the press conference, they did another press conference. I forget how the timeline worked. Then they did, maybe was it like that night they did it? Yeah, the night of the weigh-ins, they did another press conference. Something like that. I was in a press conference.
I remember the other press conference. I don't know the timing of it, but yes, I remember this happening.
There was another press conference, which I don't know what, I forget why, because the next day was the weigh-in. So when would it have been? Was it the It was the weigh-ins maybe, and they did like a press conference after the weigh-ins, which they don't usually do, something. But they had the contract for the new fight. They had already done all the promotion, but I never signed the contract. And I looked at it and I was like,
So this is on the dais? Like you sit down and it's there, or backstage?
backstage.
Okay.
We're about to walk out. I think I already had to do like all the media again. I had to do all the media. So we did like all like the backstage interview like right away. It was like immediate. He didn't make weight. They call you, they give it the fight. Boom. We did all that first, and then they had the contract in front of me, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I think if I just add another 0, I was like you already did. At this point, it's like a little too late to go back. And I looked at whoever the girl's face that had it, and I think she thought the same thing. And I was like, I called my manager and I was like, is this the contract? I kind of like walked through it and I was like, all right, I signed it. I feel like what would have happened if I was just like, you know what? Throw another 0 on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And at the very least, they're going to be like, well, we'll meet you in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
You walk out to the press conference and they're like, and now fighting for the title, and it's somebody else.
Yeah.
They just pulled them from the back.
13th ranked dude or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. If you have a crazier few days than that, it would take like the craziest event.
Just rewatching the video, I hadn't seen it in a minute. Like it really is jarring. Like I mean, like the whole window gets blown out.
Oh yeah.
And like he is like on a war path. Like he's grabbing trash cans, he's grabbing tables. Like it's insane that you were on the bus with it.
Yeah, the security acted pretty good to get, because he was going to wreck that whole, he was going, he grabbed he grabbed like a freaking, one of those big metal like blockade things, I think.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it would have
Chiesa is
killed
bleeding
somebody.
from the forehead.
What a lunatic.
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, I don't know. It's incredible promotion for the next fight, but it's kind of like it's definitely towing the line between like just being a bad person, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he had to come back to Brooklyn to do community service for it.
But it all worked out in his favor. He fought Khabib, and it was the biggest fight.
Yeah, biggest pay-per-view in UFC history.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
As always, the UFC wins, right? Like they get the promo, they just move on.
It's funny that you mentioned they were going to suppress it. The top comment on the YouTube video is, in quotes, "That was the most disgusting thing to ever happen in the UFC." Puts it on embedded.
Yeah. I swear in my head I built it up where it was like they didn't release it right away, but turns out they did.
Yeah.
Wow. What a wild time.
Much love to y'all, man. I'm just a long time watcher. Huge love to y'all. God blessings. Shout out to Ariel. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Oh, was it?
Oh, that's nice.
Shout out, man. Thanks for the message.
I like it. Great voicemail.
Harry calling again from Long Island.
Shout out.
Save your shout out to GC. We don't want him. This one is for the legendary Raging Al Iaquinta.
Let's go.
As a fellow Long Islander, shout out to Ron Konkama and Rocky Point. What are your favorite things about the island? I ask because the biggest Long Island hater is right next to you. Let GC know what's up. Thanks.
This is
so
slanders.
the truth comes out.
I love Long Island. This is crazy. I've given it nothing but praise, man.
out.
I love Long Island.
This man has slandered Long Island for far too long.
I love Long Island. It's a beautiful area.
We do a segment where he goes to taste different foods and things, and for one of them, it was like at somebody's house. They were it was for Seattle, but the house was in Long Island, so they had to go to the grocery store, do this.
Atlantic Beach, beautiful.
And
Atlantic Beach.
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
area. Nice
On
area.
Air Jordan, a guy who works in the show but is not here today, lives in Atlantic Beach, and so they went down there, and he just shit all over Long Island in the entire
I
video.
think I said how much I loved it. Beautiful highways.
He's lying.
Beautiful. Listen, I think the highways, you got to have a Southern State Parkway in your life because it makes you so much tougher. If you can get to work every day the merge between the Southern State and the Meadowbrook, if you can do that, you're probably like right there to be like you could probably do like some sort of like NASCAR racing. Like you could do like some of those guys they would run all day, but they're not interested. They're just trying to get to work. You know what I mean? A little FU here and there. You're like, it's like a warpath every day to get to work. That's the beautiful thing about Long Island. Besides the beaches, you got the South Shore, the beaches, East Atlantic Beach, Long Beach, Point Lookout. The beaches, Jones Beach. Jones Beach is, you know, kind of like more like a, it's a, what would you say, like a mainstream beach. You know what I mean? I'm more of like a Lido West kind of guy. They got the surf. People fly in from all over the world. Hurricane, what was the hurricane recently?
Sandy?
No, well, people weren't really surfing.
I forgot the name of the.
People are surfing on the roof.
Yeah.
But most recently was, I forget what the hurricane was.
me too.
I saw there were people, there's birds out there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a window.
Man. We can open it up.
Holy shit. But there were people that flew in from all over the country really to surf in Lido West, Long Island. People think New York.
They don't think surf, yeah.
And these are the best surfers in the world that come to Long Island to surf. And you really don't think about it. You're by the city. I could take 45-minute Uber ride to see you guys in the city here.
That's the thing. That's the key.
Montauk, the Hamptons, if you want to be like bougie, whatever. Then you got the North Shore of Long Island. You got you got everything right there. You got to pay your property taxes. It's a little exclusive. We don't want everybody. You got to work hard. You're gonna be working. You're gonna be going on the Southern State Parkway. And you will be tested. But that is your right to passage on Long Island. We don't want the people that aren't doing that. You know what I mean? There's a different type of person. Somebody from like, you know.
He's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Someone from Atlanta, Georgia is going to have to go through the ringer. You know what I mean?
You have to pass through the fire.
You very could have easily have gone back. You know what I mean? Like, you're here. It says a lot about you. You should be proud of yourself.
That was a great promo for Long Island. I can't lie.
I have a confession now. So growing up as a Queens boy, for the longest time, people would be like, I'm from Long Island. I'd be like, you're not from New York. You know, it's not really New York.
I agree. We should secede.
So I would always think I had that
Queens and
mentality.
Brooklyn are not part of Long Island.
No.
Despite
That's
being
New York
on
City.
the same
That's
island.
New York City.
You do bring up a good point.
Yeah.
That's our guy Frankie.
I would disagree. I think, I would say it's Nassau County's the line.
Yeah.
New York, the state of New York is, right there. Boom. And
Nassau Queens border.
State
is where
of
it's
Long
at.
Island is.
I love that.
The Nassau County, the state of Nassau, the state of the state, but the county Nassau is the state of.
So
Long Island.
it's Nassau Queens border, Long Island versus the world. That's the.
I mean, listen, we could all get along. You could, you know what I mean. But like, we're paying a lot of taxes, and like the whole state's eating from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe we kind of like do our own thing a little bit. I think we got, we've got the population for it. I think we'd be like one of the top 10 most populous states if Long Island was a state on its own.
I love this. I was proposing this just to be like, I kind of disrespected Long Island for a while, and then now that I live there, I love it so much. Like the idea, like what you said, like 45 minutes out from the city, I've got a backyard, I got a pool. Like life's a little bit better for me now than when I was in Queens. But I love that you took it even further, which is like, good. Don't come here. This is my place.
If Long
We're
Island
good.
becomes a state, is it still on Long Island or is it then in Long Island?
No, always on.
Even if it's a state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the island.
Still an
You're
island.
on the island.
Yeah, I think it would still be.
On Manhattan, in Manhattan.
Nah, in Manhattan, but you're on the island.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? That whole on or in.
Do you care about that?
Not so much. So every now and then I'll slip up and I'll say in,
And
or
somebody-
or I won't even slip up. Like sometimes I just talk weird and I'll say on and it'll sound like in, and people will give me hell and I'll be like, bro, shut up.
Bro, people
I'm from
give you
Long
hell.
Island. I can do whatever
I can
want.
do this.
You can't because you're not from here, but me.
They're trying to move here, and they're telling you.
You're gonna tell me.
The on versus in is kind of like a bit we've had going for years on the show now. It's always like, oh, is it on or is it in? Obviously, we know people say that it's on. We really just say it because people really do get fired up. If you're like, oh, yeah, I'm in Long Island, they're like, would you shut the fuck up? It's on Long Island, you idiot. It's great, though.
It is a cool thing because there's no. That's the only really you could be anywhere. You're not on Minnesota. You're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But Long Island's the only place you could be on. It's like you're on a floating, rock and island. You know what I mean? You're on the.
Well, his argument is always it's not actually an island.
Yeah, good, decent argument.
It's a peninsula, right? It's connected.
A very big.
I actually don't know if I've ever made that argument. But
Oh, somebody said that.
That's
It's
a
an
decent
island.
argument. That's a decent
Somebody
argument.
else said
It's a
that.
peninsula.
The East River is not a river. I think that's what you're thinking.
Huh?
The East River is a delta.
Oh, wow. Now we're really
No. But somebody in our vicinity, somebody in our group has said it's a peninsula. Because it's connected at the Queen's border.
But yeah, well, but it is an island encompassing that. There is a body of water, right? You can't just walk to Manhattan.
Well, then is Queens and then his argument of Queens and Brooklyn being part of Long Island.
Yeah. It depends on how you look at it. You know what I mean? It's that. Yeah, you could be.
It's a great place to live for all your real estate needs. This is the guy to get you sorted out on Long
Manhattan
Island.
to Montauk, Bayville to Sayville.
Oh, so we're like going New York everywhere. We're
not New York everywhere. I mean,
not upstate.
Anywhere in the United States of America to buy, sell, or rent, I can help you out.
What's the website?
Iaquintarealestate.com.
There it is. Go there.
I love this.
What's going on, boys in the back? This is Joe from Toronto calling.
What's up, Joe?
Shout out to you too, GC. This is a question for Raging Al Iaquinta.
Let's go.
Who is supposed to be on the show Monday. Not sure if this voicemail is getting to him.
We did it.
In terms of your real estate client base, what percentage of your clients are coming to you because they know you have a sick fighting history and they know your background and all that? Whereas what portion of your clients just found you online, whatever reason, you end up as their real estate agent, and then they find out later, like, oh shit, this guy actually fought in the UFC. I had no idea. I thought he was just a humble Long Island boy. So curious about that. Otherwise, take care, boys, and have a great day.
Great question. It's a lot of people. You know, the fighting definitely opens a lot of conversations. But I mean, it's also, people from the gym. A lot of my clients are people that are from the gym that need help buying and selling. Now it's starting to get like people who know people that I've worked with, the referral, it's starting to get like people that are like, I used to always be like somebody that I knew would call me, oh, I'm looking to buy or sell. Now it's like, oh, somebody told me, it's like another degree of separation. So it's starting to get like that. But it definitely in the beginning, it was like 100% was like somebody that I knew. There was one guy called me right after I fought Diego Sanchez, and I said, I'm selling houses, on the post-fight.
Yeah,
I said,
incredible.
I'm selling houses if you're looking to buy or sell. And sold the house in East Meadow. He simply saw the interview.
Incredible.
And, it definitely got me into some doors early. I accelerated. I worked hard though. I really definitely wasn't like I was out every weekend showing houses. Still, most weekends I'm out, showing, doing open houses, doing stuff. But it's good, and it's Long Island people, my kind of people that either want to learn about Long Island. I love talking about it.
Your Instagram is great. You do all these things talking about like all the different facts about different Long Island neighborhoods and
I
things.
love it,
It's
man.
great.
I love where I live, and I think it's like a hidden gem in the world. So I love showing it off to the right people. Bring the right crowd in. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like there was any doors that closed, as an example, right? Like, do you think there were ever people who were like looking for a house, but they're like, it's fucking Al Iaquinta from the UFC. Like, he's not a real estate agent. Like in the beginning, when you're starting out, who like doubted like your commitment to it, or doubted like you knew enough of the ropes.
Definitely, there were people that were like, oh, he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, like something like that.
It was definitely that. But I'll tell you, me 1 foot in
is better.
I'll beat freaking 95% of the people with both. But then also like me, I thought it was like a bigger deal. I thought like I'd be like, oh, I fought in the UFC, I fought Khabib, and some like 70-year-old woman's like, what? she's like, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, here, watch me knock this guy out, and she's like, ew.
On the flip side of that, have you ever had anyone that's like too much of a fan?
Yeah, me.
No.
Yeah, Rick's like,
we had the best.
I fucking love you, man.
It was good. It was
That
great.
Awesome. Not really, actually. I've been pretty good at figuring that out.
At the end of the day, it's such an important transaction. It's such an important thing. Nobody's really
Can't
there
really
just to
have
like
someone
fan
that's not
out.
taking
Like
it serious.
this is a lot of money. This is an important like thing. You're moving to it. I feel like it's so easy to transition from like, oh, I know Al, like great, you fought in the UFC, but now it's like, all right, we're doing business now.
Yeah.
Let's get to business.
definitely you gotta be. I think it's almost like it maybe like helps out a little bit more to navigate through people that aren't serious. It's like you got you got to be financially,
Yeah.
You got to be able to have like you got the pre-approval. Oh, this guy's serious. He's got a pre-approval. Like call the lender that he got the pre-approval from. Said, hey, this guy? He's credit's good, income's debt to ratio, blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, he's serious. He's looking, you know what I mean? And I don't think I've ever had a situation where it's been, like someone pulling, trying to play a game or something.
Good.
What's up, boys in the back? This is CJ coming out of Roswell, Georgia. Previously lived in Athens, Georgia. Shout out Mama's Boy. Shout out GC. I don't even really have a question, and this is going to be some glazing, so Frank, you can go ahead and get the drop ready. I just wanted to say that since coming to this new era of the Ariel Helwani show, GC has really come out of his shell and started cracking way more jokes.
Wow.
And I just really appreciate his sense of humor. And another thing I wanted to say real fast is that we got to stop talking to Rick about Lord of the Rings because it's obviously just rage bait. All right. Love you, boys. Take it easy.
Damn, appreciate the call. Shout out to Mama's Boy.
No D1 Glazer drop. Wow, he even requested it. There we go.
Can't play it while
You know
the
about
voice
this?
notes
Nah, I appreciate it.
Ariel was on Logan Paul's video, like he was doing a vlog, and Ariel was big upping Logan. He's like, "This guy's the future of the sport. He's so good. WWE this, WWE." And then Logan is like right next to him, covers his mouth,
shirt
with a
covered,
shirt.
and screams into his microphone. He's like, "This guy's a D1 Glazer," what he just played, and then published it.
And then published it, and it became a whole thing.
Like Ariel's kids are like teenagers, so like they know Logan Paul and they know like the glazing terminology, and they were like heartbroken. They were like, "Dad, that's fucked up that he calls it D1 Glazer." Like they like took it like personal.
Damn.
Then Ariel went on Logan's pod. They sorted it all out. Everything's good.
I very much appreciate those words, though. Shout out to Mama's Boy. Shout out to Roswell. Means a lot, man.
Yo, what's up, guys? Shout out to everyone. It's your boy Connor here, 2 N's, 2 O's from Yardley, PA. Shout out to the 215.
Shout out to the 215.
My question is,
You made
are
it
the
right
cards
there.
really as thin as
Yeah,
everyone's
this is like the first
saying
one
in
we
terms
heard.
of stars,
Thank you, man. You're
or is the
struggling
UFC
back there.
Hey, it's 24-inch Dubs.
No,
I got
already
a question
played.
here.
Did we go
like
through
we're
them all?
restarting.
He just
What
doing a
piece of
terrible
UFC
job at
I feel like I'm hearing 4 or 5 seconds.
Did you say that we already heard that one?
Yeah, we had heard both
heard
the ones
them.
you just played.
Yeah, we
Did
like started at
Did
the
we go
top
through them
again.
all?
No.
No, hold on one second.
Frankie's struggling today, man.
Hey, boys, just watching the show right now. Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, we haven't heard this one.
Just wondering, simple question for you guys. When you guys are consuming fights, what's your go-to drink? Is it a beer? Is it hard alcohol? Is it a mixed drink? Is it water? Let me know.
Yeah, so like if I'm at home and I'm watching the fights, like we do the watch parties, but if I'm at home, like something alcoholic, there's nothing more fun than like
hard or beer. Like, what do we do though?
I'm actually not a huge liquor guy. I stick pretty close to the beer and wine, but like if I'm watching fights, it's gonna be beers. But like put back 5 or 6 beers while you're watching the fights. That makes for a good Saturday evening.
What about you? Do you drink when you're watching the fights, or are you like locked in? Like, what's the move?
Usually drinking, watching the fights. Yeah, I like drinking a Modelo during the fights.
Hey, shout out! It's brand recognition, but
if it's like a fight, if it's like, but if I'm like out somewhere, then something else. I'll do like I like those espresso martinis. Man.
They're great.
You get one of those, like your night's kicking off right.
I'm not much of a drinker, but I do like an espresso martini.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an important one. Aljo, drinking a little bit during camp. Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
So maybe this is not as rare as I
How's
thought.
about his rum, man? He
Funk Harbor rum.
Shout out.
Shout out to him, man.
Good stuff.
He's brought us some bottles.
He's brought us bottles. We love it.
Several times.
Yeah, we go through it. Rum in the summer. That's the drink of choice.
Oh, I love it.
I thought it was more of like a universal like no, but I guess it's not really. I'm starting to learn that.
Yeah. No, I definitely would. I drink a glass of wine. If I'm going to a wedding, I'll have a couple drinks. You know what I mean? Maybe. I mean, it's not. If you're drinking every night, it's hard. It's not really not good. But I don't think
it's not a complete cutout. It's just like be responsible.
If you're hungover, if you put in a hard week of training, it's never the best. You probably,
Yeah.
Merab's the best example of that. The guy never drinks ever.
Yeah.
Only Funk Harbor. But yeah, I think if you're responsible, if you're not waking up hungover, if you can, it depends on you. Like Aljo can have a couple drinks, maybe get a little buzz on, but he's not like waking up hungover the next day.
Yeah.
And Aljo's just built differently.
I was gonna say his physique is insane. Like
Yeah.
he's always in good shape.
Yeah, like he could wake up the next day and go 10 rounds. You know what I mean? I don't think. But if it was somebody that couldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's more of a personal. It's like some guys have to, some guys don't. You kind of just okay.
Yeah, if you can control yourself, if you can't control yourself, then that's you probably should just not do it at all. I think it's like anything in life.
It's like all the discipline required for these camps, right? Like it's like you can cut a corner here, but should you, right? Like those types of things.
And I think somebody like Aljo might need it. I think he might be better, like just
Taking the
having
edge
like
off.
a little like having something to look forward to. You train harder,
Yeah.
maybe. If it's just like training every day, some people different. Maybe he needs like a little, maybe kind of like takes his mind off of it. He could bring his mind to another place, and then the next day he's like more focused.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Bring it back to equilibrium.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, boys in the back? It's AJ from the great state of Connecticut once again. What up, Raging Al? My question actually is for Al here. So I read online you got into real estate around the same time or after some sort of contract dispute with the Thiago Alves fight. So I was just curious. That's actually, was true. It was a true story. How that kind of came to be. But if not, like why you did get into real estate? If it was something you were always interested in, after you finished your fighting career, or if it was just something that kind of happened that you decided to jump into right away. Thanks, guys.
That's a good question. Yeah. I brought back from a long time ago. The Thiago Alves fight was supposed to be at MSG. I signed up for the fight, but I kind of like, they offered me the fight and I said yes. And then but my knee was so jacked up. I forget, I don't know if that was before or after I had surgery. I think it was, I forget. But I kind of like thought there was a chance that I was never fighting again. So I just kind of like went crazy. And I was like, I'm just going to go out on my shield. I'm probably never fighting again. I'm just going to ask for like crazy money, curse them out when they don't give it to me. Fucking like, but it was, I don't know if you, I don't know.
They didn't have it on Tapology.
Yeah. It was, I don't know if it was before I had surgery or not. But the contract dispute was basically, I was just kind of like fed up. It was like the whole thing with the UFC wasn't paying for the surgery.
So it was for 205. It was around September of 2016. They're saying.
So it was probably after. I think it was after I had surgery. And I think my knee wasn't healing the way it was supposed to. So I was like, I'm not fighting. And I kind of thought maybe like I wasn't going to fight. I didn't know if I was going to fight again. So I kind of just went
September
like September
19th. It's saying is like roughly when you were out of that fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. But yeah, I just kind of thought I wasn't. I was just like, I was nuts. I was like kind of like in a weird spot in my life. These guys, you know what I mean? So I kind of just went crazy with the contract thing. Yeah, that was it.
Well, as you were talking about earlier, like it is a crazy thing as a fighter to have that realization. Like I may not be fighting. Like that may not be my long-term career. So you had to be in a different mental spot.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking about all the other options, especially when it comes to like injuries.
Yeah.
Because you could compete at that level, but your body's like, no.
That's what it was. I was like, my knee was so jacked up that I was like, I'm probably, if I fight, it's not gonna be good for me. You know? But I was like, there's a price for everything.
Yeah.
So I shout out my price, and they said no, and then I was like, oh no, and I kind of like went crazy about it, and I think what that was, but yeah.
Was there a point at the end where you were just stepping in there knowing like I'm not the best version of myself due to this?
I never
You always think you're gonna win,
Yeah.
right? You never went in like not thinking you're gonna win, but did you think like, man, 2 years ago I would have been walking through this?
Definitely the last one. I think the Bobby Green fight. They said they were. They said they were fighting it, doing one at MSG, and I was like, I've never fought at MSG. got it. Let's do it. I gave it everything I had, and I was in great shape. I don't think it was just maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from anybody.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean. But yeah, I think the MSG one. If it wasn't at MSG, I don't know if it
You might not have done it.
Yeah.
I get it.
What's up, boys in the back? Keep killing the game. Appreciate the shout out, Connor. Man, long time listener, first time caller. But for real, shout out to GC. Digging that you're on Strava and enjoying the running journey.
Hey, let's go. Keep
Enjoy
the
it, bro.
runs up.
It is a awesome experience. I'm an ultra trail runner.
Oh shit!
Add me on Strava, bro. See how us ultra runners do it.
You're built
But for
different,
real,
bro.
keep on pushing forward. Keep on killing the game. And that goes for everybody, including Andy and
Andy getting a lot of shout outs on her day off.
yeah,
On the
Jordan,
day she's not here.
that guy.
And Jordan.
All right, y'all. Keep killing it. Catch you later.
Yeah, let's go. Shout out to Strava. We're like 350 members now.
Ultra marathoner is crazy.
Nah, built different.
What
10
is
kids
Strava?
one. It's like a running log. So like you like hit it and then you just run with it and it tells you how long you went, your pace and everything like that. So we started a group for fans of the show. Yeah, there's been some pretty inspiring stuff. It gets my ass out there more. So yeah, anything. I'm trying to push him to get out there. Be a big pop if he jumped in there.
Were you a road work guy when you were in camp?
I loved running.
Yeah.
I ran in high school. I ran cross country to stay in shape for wrestling. I love running.
Do you still run?
Nah, but I should more. I should. Definitely. Yeah, I got to get out there more. I ran a 5K last week, like a 9/11.
Let's go.
Oh, good shit.
Let's go.
The slowest 5K.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. You're out there doing it.
Yeah.
But that's what's so great about what he's doing in the Strava thing is like,
like
it's just
this.
people running.
fun,
It's
man.
just
It's
people
fun.
running together. We got to get Al. And
Oh, there'd be a
Strava.
massive pop
I'd
if
have to
Raging
get
Al
in there.
jumped
I
in
think
there.
I
You
gotta-
kidding me?
I need something to freaking give me a
Give you a motivation.
Man, there's some people out there. This dude's talking about ultra running and like it's like global. You got people running half marathons in Finland and 10Ks in Sydney, Australia tapping in. So yeah, it's been fun.
He runs like the morning of fights, so it's like the around the MMA community is like, oh, we're gonna run because this is
Yeah,
this
you try to
event's
do like the
coming
fight day 5Ks and whatnot.
And where do you? Is it an actual 5K or you make your? You
You just run on Strava and it'll just
And it'll
track it for you. Yeah, so you just rip the park or whatever. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun.
What up, boys? And Al Iaquinta.
Oh.
Good to meet you. This is Don Davis calling in to promote
Don Davis calls
TFL
in.
Nantes. This Friday, September 26th, 11 a.m. Eastern. Ayub versus Desme, main event, lightweight. Al, I know you know a lot about that. Check it out on the PFL app or at your local broadcaster if you are in France or anywhere else in Europe. Al, while you're on the show today, want to ask you about a teammate of yours, DeGenario. Hope I got that right. He's coming off an impressive win in Ring of Combat 87. It's also a lightweight. Majority decision over Cameron Scalio. I know he's 1-0, but that also means he's undefeated. What would it take to get him to the PFL? Give him a ring. Let him know we're in the Beethoven business. Now on to the Add Me Back Frank section of this week's call. And no ad, because I wouldn't do that to Al. Keeping it thematically, though, connected. Frank, are you a fan of Doom 2? And have you played or heard of the Doom 2 map, My House? This map is a subversive horror thriller that revolves around a house that continues to change in shape, sometimes drastically and in a non-Euclidean manner. Check it out. Draws inspiration from the 2000 novel House of Leaves by Mark V. Daniels. One of those, you know what, just House of Leaves. Look it up. Curious to see if we can make this happen with your teammate, Al. And great to meet you. Have a good rest of your week, and see you again on Friday, boys. Take care.
All right. I didn't know he was going to do
Call it a
research and
specific
invite your teammate or anything like that.
That was incredible.
That is not the real Don
That's not the
Davis,
real Don
unfortunately.
Davis. He does a good impression,
It's an
though.
impersonator of Don Davis that for some reason calls in every week.
But we should give your boy a plug. What was the fighter that he mentioned?
Oh, what the fuck? Now I thought Don Davis really wanted
No.
Tommy
That's
D.
what I'm saying. Now I'm pissed that it wasn't like, yeah.
That was some fucked up shit. You had me really thinking. I was like, oh.
Damn
I was like, wow, Don Davis is really watching the figure ring combat like that. Tommy DeGennaro.
That's his name.
Yeah, Tommy.
Fuck, that's
Tommy
a great name.
Beethoven.
Oh, that's his nickname. Wow, he really knows about him.
Yeah, he had a big fight, Ring of Combat, this past weekend, Friday night.
Oh, he's the one who fought this weekend.
Tropicana in
Oh,
Atlantic
shit.
City. That's why I don't know who that guy was, but
He does his research.
Cameron
knows his
Scalio,
stuff.
majority decision at Ring of Combat 87.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Beethoven.
This guy is as tough as they come and great wrestler. Fought a tough fight. He fought 2 fights in this one. A ref and the
Oh,
guy.
it was one of those, huh?
They gave the guy a point for an eye poke. The guy
Oh,
poked
crazy.
him in the one. Maybe it was an eye poke.
This is why you got the majority decision.
Majority. The guy Castro gave him we were sitting ringside there. Judge Castro gives it 29-28. The other guy, we wanted to kill him. This guy Castro's lucky he got out of there alive. So the ref gave the other guy a point, right, for the eye poke. And everybody was like, what are you doing? Right? So if you're the judge and you're sitting there and you see that, it doesn't matter. You're still giving the round to the guy that won the round.
Yeah.
9-9, right?
Yeah.
9-9. The guy didn't even win the round, the other guy. I don't know how this guy Castro ever saw it for the other guy to make it a split.
So he gave him...
He gave the other guy a round. He
so
gave the other guy...
that turned into a 10-8.
Yeah.
Instead of the 9-9. Wow. No, yeah. Insane.
I'm
But
looking at
shout out
his
to
Instagram
Tommy.
right here, man. I just gave him a follow. Shout out to Tommy Beethoven DeGennaro,
Beethoven.
man. He's got his own merch. He's got his own logo where the B in Beethoven is a musical note. Why is his nickname Beethoven?
He has hearing. He might. I don't know if he's fully deaf, but he's pretty.
No way.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What a name, right?
What a story. What a name.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy DeGennaro in its own right.
Yeah,
is a
great name.
fantastic
Sick. And then
name.
Beethoven.
Oh,
right?
this is sick. I mean,
So
he's
yeah.
in crazy shape.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys to look out for, right?
He's one of the
gonna
guys.
be one of the guys
100%.
that's like...
He's, training with. He's been training with Matt Sarah forever. Great wrestling. Just tough guy. This was a hard fight that he had, and he's been through some tough fights on the way up, and this was a big one for him, and he got the win. So we're definitely pulling for Tommy.
Shout out Tommy.
He's a beast.
Love
a
it.
beast. Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Name to watch.
Even if it was the fake Don Davis, at least we got Tommy on the radar.
Yeah,
now.
man,
Tommy's
that's
on there
awesome.
now.
Really good.
We'll be
I don't know
following.
who that guy is, but the fact that he knows that and he pulled that was. But this guy calls like regularly, huh? This guy.
Yeah. All
Don Davis.
That's incredible.
Look at this
Don,
merch.
hey, my
I mean,
man.
this is
Yeah, do we
awesome.
have it? Look at that
Look at that.
T-shirt. That's nice, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's nice. I need a Beethoven shirt.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
shit, man.
We're joining the fan club now.
Oh, we're all in. 1-0.
Shout out
The
Tom.
symphony gets bigger.
Yeah, I love it.
This-
Oh, is that the fan club? The
It's like
symphony.
The
Yeah.
symphony.
Fuck.
The symphony plays on. He says.
Oh, I love
Awesome.
it. I'm
Yeah,
all in,
he's-
man.
He's
Shout out to
awesome.
DeGennaro.
Boys in the back, I'd like to use this show real quick to give my girlfriend of 4 years a message.
Oh,
I
sorry.
asked her to take off work to watch the show with me.
Okay, she took
Heather?
off work and she's watching?
In these last 4 years, I've learned to live with a sense of gratitude that growing up I never once thought possible.
Yo, she's watching live.
You make
right now.
each day feel easier than the last, and on the days when it's not so easy, you give me the strength to be tough. I know I asked you to take off work today, and it's probably been very disappointing sitting on the couch
Watching our
watching these
schlub
doofuses
asses.
talk about MMA. But now, I should be on one knee, and I'd like to ask for your hand. in marriage.
There's no way!
Frankie, hit the horn, because I hope she said yes.
The breaking
And if she
news.
said no,
She
then
said
this horn
yes.
is going to really
I'll
fuck up my day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you,
that's
boys.
real.
That was
Give us a round of
incredible.
applause for the newly engaged.
Shout
I'll see you
out.
at the wedding.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations.
If that's legit,
Please send us
and we
videos,
get a
pictures,
video or photo,
anything.
That's
that
incredible.
would be next level.
That is the most unreal thing I've ever seen. I'll get a T-shirt printed with that on it. Are you kidding me?
We should have him on the show if this is real.
On the show,
100%.
Don Davis can officiate the wedding.
Don Davis can officiate the wedding. We need save the dates. We need save the
Yeah,
dates.
yeah, for
Are
sure.
you
Send them
fucking
out.
kidding me? Come on. Wow.
That would be incredible.
I think both of them need to come on the show.
Yes.
I want to watch.
No, we'll have them together. We'll have
need
them
the
together.
girlfriend on too.
100%.
Wow. I am sorry that we had to be the witnesses.
No, that's incredible.
That's incredible.
I wish we could have seen what's happening.
I wish
right
we had
now.
a live feed. Is it happening right now?
Right,
She had to sit through 2 hours and 47 minutes of our
Frank, find the person's number, call them now, and just see.
Oh my God.
Do a check-in.
I hope they said yes. Was that the finale, Frankie? Is there any left? Okay, I guess there's one more.
What's going on, boys in the back? Henry here from UNC.
Hey, shout
I
out
want
to
to
the
formally
Bears.
challenge a GC to a bike challenge. Been putting in
bike
the work for an
challenge.
Ironman. And listen, I think I'd just smoke him, and it really wouldn't even be close. You can do it on the Aerodon, Peloton, shit, out in real life. It don't matter. GC, come get the smoke.
All right, I'm in.
Wow, you versus Henry?
Yeah, I need the stipulations. Write up a contract and we can figure something out. I need the stipulations.
Young Henry from UNC.
The story is back here. We had a bike sponsorship, Averon, similar to a Peloton. And like I was just smoking everyone in the office. A couple people came in, smoked them too. And then I started calling out Sean Brady, and he came on the show and accepted the challenge. Welterweight Sean Brady. And then he ducked. He ducked ever since. He saw the work I was putting in, and he was too scared to come in.
Wow.
Set a date and everything. He ducked the bike challenge.
It was a real storyline. Like Brady was like coming on, talking about it.
He ducked, man.
Ducked.
Oh.
Yeah, real ducking allegations against him.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
That changes a lot. I'm a big fan of this guy.
We love Sean Brady.
We love Sean Brady.
Yeah.
Massive fans, but
he's got to do the challenge.
he'll always have an asterisk next to his name.
Yeah,
He
it's
didn't
always
want to get
gonna-
on the bike.
On Tapology, it will soon say like GC canceled.
Fizzled bout. GC bike challenge.
Yeah. But we love Sean Brady.
What is the bike that is?
We would so it's called an Averon, and we would just get on and do like what 2 minutes or something on it.
Yeah, no, like 1 minute by the end. We were doing a 1 minute run.
It was basically like a
Who could
sprint.
sprint?
Yeah, who could sprint the farthest?
It's like it's not like a cycling bike. It's more close to like it's an exercise bike, but it feels like a road bike as opposed like it feels like riding a bike as opposed to that spin feel. Great product, really enjoyed it.
I mean, legendary day. I took out our guy on air, Jordan, and get a secondary challenge from Ade. I mean, legs were
He's beat two people in the same
were
day.
goo after that. I love giving
He's nice on the
Raging Al
bike.
the lore here.
That's
nice.
good. That's the real deal.
Sean's now, from what we understand, according to Sean and according to Joe Pfeiffer, Sean holds the record at the PI for like the craziest VO2 max from riding the bike. So that's why we wanted Sean Brady, but then he ducked our boy.
Wow, I can't believe we just got a proposal on the air.
That would be crazy if that's real. That's nuts.
I hope they
got to send a video or a
Yeah,
photo.
they'll send a video, something.
I hope it went good. I hope they recorded it. It might not have.
Any more, Frankie?
That's all the voicemails.
All right, we got any super chats?
Damn right we do. We have 3.
All
They're
right.
all from the same individual. We paid $10 a pop for these.
Wow.
Whoa.
I'm going to read them off.
$30.
Look, I have an issue with the White House card, specifically the Conor versus Chandler fight. Can
Okay.
you help me push a better fight? Shout out to the boys, plus Andy and Frank, by the way.
Shout out to you. My personal preference is Conor versus Nate. That's what I would want to see. I think that's the best one.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Well,
Conor versus Nate.
Yeah.
Conor versus Nate 3 on the White House card.
There's just more story. Like if you're gonna do Conor, the Chandler thing never has taken hold for me. Like Chandler's great, but it's like he doesn't really have a beef with Conor. It's like they did tough together. Chandler's too nice. He's too respectful. The Nate thing feels like you could like boil something up. Even the Max fight that they were talking about. There's at least a history there.
History there. Yeah.
Speaking of the devil, sorry to interrupt, he wrote, again, why is no one talking about Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2?
There you go.
It's a much better fight and storyline, and Max is out until 2026, and a test for Conor, which leads into a trilogy, Chandler after. For real. Continue.
I honestly, I feel like it's the flip. You do the Chandler first, and we get a gauge of where McGregor is at in his career. Because, I mean, Holloway has looked great.
Yeah,
Like,
Holloway's
at
still up
155,
here.
Like, he looked so good against Poirier just a month and a half ago, 2 months
Yeah.
ago. I think the inverse. If Conor comes back, he looks great against Chandler, then you could start talking about a Holloway fight.
No, it's a great point. Like Max is still like cream of the crop. Chandler's obviously like fallen a bit in terms of that. So
did he do one more?
He did do one more. It says, if Conor comes back, it needs to be Conor versus Max Holloway at the White House, not DS3, not
Wow.
Chandler. What are your thoughts?
I feel like we just gave him.
I love the passion though. He's like all out.
Is there a word, Max? in that whole thing?
I don't know.
He could have just put that all.
Is this
in
his
one.
burner account?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the $30.
Yeah. Good.
All right, that's it for Super Chats, Frankie?
Yes, sir.
All right, that will do it for us. Al, we can't thank you enough for coming
Dude,
on, man. You made it.
These shirts.
I mean, come on,
come
with the
on.
shirts. You made it the long haul with us, 2 hours and
That's it,
52 minutes. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it, man. It's been fantastic. And tomorrow, if you want to watch some more content, Ariel out all week, but we'll have the return of the MMA Beat.
Yes.
In form of the Beat. Ariel, Ben Folks, Pete Carroll, Chuck Mendenhall. The new iteration of the MMA Beat. The Beat will be tomorrow. Then a Classics interview look back on Wednesday. And then we're back on Thursday. We're previewing UFC Perth, one Raging Al Iaquinta is excited for. And then the Crack on Friday. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you again to Al Iaquinta. We appreciate it more than you know. Peace.